The year 2662, Liuguang City, 3rd High School, a Xianrank metropolis. On the summoning platform, high school seniors stood one after another, the line stretching long. The atmosphere was intense, buzzing with nervous anticipation and excitement. Then, in the blink of an eye, a blob of black liquid materialized on the summoning platform. Slowly, my consciousness stirred awake. What happened to me? Where are my hands? My feet? Why is my body just a puddle of black goo? Did I get reincarnated as Venom? The supervising teacher blinked in surprise, pausing for a moment. Class 5, Senior Year, Lung Wuyan. Summoning complete. Summoned Beast Grade. Unranked. A wave of murmurs and whispers erupted across the crowd. I extended my awareness outward. Standing next to me was a girl with fair skin, an icy demeanor, and sharp, determined eyes. But in this moment, they were wide with shock. She was Lung Wuyan. The teacher urged, "Begin the contract now." Lung Wuyan gritted her teeth and stretched her hand out. Fingers splayed, aimed directly at me. Contract me? Oh hell no. A sinking feeling washed over me. I don't even know where I am yet, and now I'm supposed to be someone's glorified battle pet? That's not happening. Suddenly, a rush of memories forcefully flooded my mind. This isn't the Marvel Universe, and it's not Earth either. It's a world eerily similar to Earth. 500 years ago, this planet underwent a spiritual energy revival. Beasts, monstrous and demonic, overwhelmed the lands. Modern weaponry was useless against them. Some of the great beasts could level entire cities with a single attack. Humanity, once the apex predator of the food chain, plunged straight into an abyss. That year, the population plummeted by 80%. It was memorialized as the Dark Age. It wasn't until humans, too, were enhanced by spiritual energy, awakening the ability to become beast masters, summoning battle companions to fight alongside them, that civilization narrowly avoided extinction. Today, battles against the beasts continue on the front lines, but humanity has finally stabilized its footing. Battle beasts are ranked from G to SSS, with every 10 levels marking a tier. A summoning's appraisal determines the beast's potential, growth speed, and strength. Basically, the higher the rank, the better. But me? Unranked. The teasing voices from the crowd below grated like nails on a chalkboard. Ugh, what the hell is that? Just a blob of black slime. Lung Wuyan, the ice goddess, summoned. That. I was expecting some kind of powerful ice phoenix. She's so pristine on the outside, but maybe the inside is just black. Unranked summoning beast? Doesn't even qualify for G rank. No way it's armor or a tool. That thing's alive. Look, it's moving. Ha ha ha, an unranked battle beast? Probably weaker than a G rank beast. It was chaos. The mocking, the sneering, the judgments, everything grated on my nerves. My irritation climbed sky high. If I'd had fists, I'd have crushed them right there. After reincarnating as this symbiote, aka Venom, my temper seemed to have taken on a much more explosive edge. Just as I was about to lash out, a distinct ding echoed in my mind. Ding. Symbiotic system detected. Contract with Lung Wuyan to activate the system. Refuse, and it will disappear permanently. A system? As someone with memories of my previous life, I knew exactly what this meant. Fine. Screw it. For the system's sake, I'll deal. I extended a tendril, wrapping around Lung Wuyan's palm. The contract was sealed on the spot. Symbiote Venom. Contract successful. Lung Wuyan's stomach dropped. Of all the beasts she could have summoned, it just had to be this. Ding. System activated. Gain symbiote points by slaying beasts. Points can be exchanged for rewards. G rank, 1 point, F rank, 10 points, E rank, 100 points. Activation bonus, awarding 1,000 symbiote points. Would you like to unlock a reward? Unlock it. Of course, unlock. Ding. Reward unlocked. Max resistance to high-frequency sonic waves. I perked up instantly. Symbiote's biggest weaknesses are fire and high-frequency sound, and the system just handed me immunity to one of those on a silver platter. Technically, after contracting, I was supposed to enter the beast dimension where summoned creatures reside. But I wasn't about to be locked up, no way. Instead, I followed the link into Lung Wuyan's body directly, embedding myself there. In her inexperience, this being her first contract, she assumed her new little guy, was obediently returning to the beast dimension by itself, and paused momentarily, surprised. Once the rest of the class finished their summoning rituals, the teacher spoke again. That's it for today. You're dismissed. Remember, the college entrance exams are in a month. Morning classes will continue as usual, but in the afternoons, focus on training your battle beasts and leveling them up quickly. Do your best. Aim to get into your dream universities. As the teacher wrapped up, his gaze lingered on the calm, yet cold-faced Lung Wuyin, tinged with pity. This once proud prodigy had now become the laughingstock of the entire room. Lung Wuyin silently walked toward the school gates. Along the way, boys approached her with words of encouragement, awkwardly trying to comfort her. Don't lose hope, Lung Wuyin. Yeah, it just means you'll have to work a little harder. She nodded faintly, brushing them off before continuing forward. She didn't have the patience to entertain shallow reassurances. Not far behind, a group of girls stared at her, torn between jealousy and sympathy. For the past 3 years, Lung Wuyin had shone brighter than anyone else, relegating others to mere background extras. But now, they were convinced, after today, this proud ice queen would finally be brought low, trampled by reality. Once at home, Lung Wuyin let out a deep sigh. Her apartment was cold and empty. It was just her here. She was an orphan. Her parents had died on the front lines long ago, leaving behind only the honorary title of esteemed beastmasters. She had always aspired to follow in their footsteps. Yet today, that hope had been all but shattered. It wasn't an uncommon story. Humanity's survival had come at the cost of countless beastmasters' lives. Her parents were just 2 of many. Relying on their compensation and merit points, she had left the orphanage years ago, forcing herself to become independent. Her hardships had forged her into someone unyielding, with an indomitable spirit. To outsiders, she was dazzling, fierce, and capable, always carrying herself with a resolute determination. But behind closed doors, her confidence crumbled. She was, at the end of the day, just a lonely girl. She gets scared too, trembling under the covers during a thunderstorm, hugging her pillow tightly. She wishes someone could hold her, let her lean on a shoulder. But she doesn't dare show weakness. She's all alone, and if she falls, there's no one to catch her. Growl, growl. Her stomach speaks up first, announcing its hunger. Lung Wuyin pats her head softly, forcing her sadness back down, and turns to start cooking. She didn't notice, but deep within her, it seems another consciousness was quietly sharing her feelings. With the spatula in motion, it didn't take long before a giant wok of fried rice, enough for 5 people, was set on the table. Wait, why did I cook this much? She blinked in surprise, tilting her head as she stared at the massive pile of food. Ah, whatever. If I can't finish it, I'll just have it for tomorrow. Leaning in to take a whiff of the aroma, she couldn't help but smile. If I can't become a beast tamer, at least my cooking skills will keep me fed. She only allows herself to relax this much when she's alone. Just as she was about to dig in, she remembered the beast she contracted earlier that day. It was just a blob of black, semi-liquid substance, but its ominous name still stuck in her mind. Does it eat food? Should I ask? Following the summoning spell taught at school, Lung Wuyin stretched out her slender fingers. Venom, come out. Nothing. Venom, come out. Still nothing. Her face darkened, refusing to give up. You better come out, you slimy blob. Boom. A shadow, glossy black and towering, suddenly filled the small room. Its silvery eyes gleamed as it tilted its head, revealing a sharp, toothy grin. Slimy blob. Your whole family's slimy blobs. I am Venom. Venom. Just the sound of my name makes superheroes tremble. Lung Wuyin collapsed onto the floor, terrified, covering her mouth as she scrambled backward. Her mind was a mess. Wait, wasn't it supposed to be just a puddle of goo? Is this thing going to, gulp, tear me apart? I let out a dry laugh. If I wanted you dead, you'd already be gone 1,000 times over. Listen carefully. My name is Venom. You could call me Venom Grandpa if you'd like, but if you dare call me Slimy Blob again, I'll shred you to pieces. Shrink. My form compressed until I was just a head, stuck closely against Lung Wuyin's back. She panted heavily, caught between fear and an undeniable curiosity. You can shape-shift and talk? I guess I misunderstood. But, can you tone down your attitude? I'm supposed to be the master. I sneered, expanding partway again. My hand, bigger than her head, gently clamped around her pale neck. Master, with those scrawny arms and legs, you think you're qualified to be Venom Grandpa's master? Get this straight. From now on, I am your master. Sharp, claw-like fingertips grazed across her neck, making the hair on her body stand on end. Cross me, and I'll crush you like an ant, I warned before retracting my form, leaving only my head near her. Lung Wuyin, still shaking slightly, bit her lip and glared. Her eyes, though frightened, carried a stubborn defiance. I'll never call you my master, not even if I die. But maybe we can be friends? Is that okay? Uffed. As if. Too bad for her. I'm not just Venom. I'm also Su Chi. I grinned wickedly, deciding to make things clear once and for all. Master or not, makes no difference. From now on, you're just my ride. That's the deal. Lung Wuyin's retort died in her throat as I cut her off. Keep arguing, and I'll announce what I saw when you were sulking alone at home, looking all mopey like someone owed you money. Oh, and that 5-person portion of fried rice you ate solo? I'll make sure all the neighbors, teachers, and classmates know how dramatically you stick your tongue out while cooking. What? How do you even know that? The school said dimensional space blocks communication. I scoffed. That cheap pocket dimension couldn't block me if it tried. The truth? I never actually left. I've been there inside her all along. Lung Wuyin's almond-shaped eyes turned misty, tears welling as she clutched at her frustration. She felt utterly wronged. While everyone else had obedient combat beasts, she ended up summoning a nightmare. What was she supposed to tell people now? Hi, I'm a beast tamer, only to get a response like, oh hi, I see you're being tamed. Bye, your beast instead? Embarrassing beyond belief. Her misty eyes meant little to me. In fact, the more pitiful she looked, the more amusing it was. I might be getting a bit mean, but I've got to admit, reveling in this power felt pretty great. Seeing that whining wouldn't help, Lung Wuyin sniffled, wiped her eyes, and prioritized her next move, filling her stomach. She picked up her spoon, cautiously glanced at me on the table, and asked, do you want some? I mean, I make a decent meal. No, I refused coldly. Her jaw clenched as anger burned behind her eyes. Fine, don't eat. I'll finish it all myself. Not a single bite for you. She attacked the fried rice as if it had personally offended her. Unbeknownst to her, the sensory connection allowed me to taste every bite. And damn, her cooking wasn't bad. This fried rice was surprisingly amazing. Kid's got skills, I admitted internally. By midnight, after the city's lights dimmed, Lung Wuyin found herself walking toward the northern gate, a look of mild despair etched on her face. It was the designated monster taming zone on the city's outskirts. The reason? She wasn't exactly going of her own accord. After dinner, I didn't bother explaining. Rather, I turned into a sleek black membrane and slid right into her clothes. Took over her moves without going full Venom style like in the movies. Showing up in the city like that would've had people thinking a monster was attacking. Instead, I kept things under wraps, literally. Hidden beneath her clothes, I controlled her discreetly to avoid unnecessary trouble. Venom, can we come back tomorrow afternoon? She asked, trying to negotiate. I have class tomorrow and… Shut it. I cut her off, annoyed. Mount making demands. I'll decide when to go, and we're going now. No way I was waiting for tomorrow. I couldn't wait another minute. Co-op points could only be gained by slaying beasts, and I was itching to dive into the action. Heading straight for the city gates, I approached the guards who, after confirming Lung Wuyin's ID, let us through. They were used to this. Students often ran out to level up their battle companions around this time. Once out of the gates, as we moved deeper into the forest, I revealed my full, undisguised form. Unlike the bulky Venom from the movies, this female version was lean, sharp, and every bit as deadly. I launched a tendril from my body, hooking it onto a tree branch to swing us further inside. We didn't go far before encountering our first beast, a G-tier frenzied rabbit. Lung Wuyin immediately warned, "Be careful, it's fast. You'll have the best shot when it's mid-jump." Before she could finish her thought, I had already acted. A tendril shot from my shoulder, piercing the rabbit instantly. The creature didn't even have time to react. Its murderous intent etched on its face as lifeless as its body hit the ground. One measly co-op point for a G-tier kill. I muttered, unimpressed, flicking the rabbit's carcass aside like trash. Lung Wuyin appeared stunned. How did you move so fast? Aren't you an unranked battle beast? I sneered. You have no idea of your master's true power. Let me show you what Venom is really capable of. Having tested the waters, I now had a sense of how this world's beasts stacked up. G-tier was beneath me. I pressed on, venturing deeper, until we stumbled on our next challenge, a pack of F-tier bloodhounds. Unlike the rabbits, these were stronger, aggressive pack beasts notorious for their relentlessness. Bloodhounds are vicious, Lung Wuyin said, her face pale as the beasts snarled and charged. Even weaker E-tiers avoid fighting them head-on. Maybe we should fall back and pick them off slowly. It sounded like a lot of unnecessary work. No need, I scoffed. Spreading my stance, I let out a low growl. Tendrils burst from my body, 24 in total, meeting each hound mid-charge. With sickening speed, every single bloodhound was skewered before they had a chance to react. The forest fell silent, the pack wiped out in an instant. Each F-tier kill awarded 10 co-op points, and there were 24 of them. Not bad. Lung Wuyin stood there, stunned once again. You can do AoE attacks now? I retracted the tendrils and replied nonchalantly. I can do anything. Not that I felt the need to explain myself to her. The points felt good, but it wasn't enough. E-tier beasts were next, top of the food chain in this beginner-friendly zone. I went straight for the center and found a herd of Ironhide zombies. E-tier Ironhide zombies. They're slow but durable as steel. They're one of the top 5 in defense, Lung Wuyin cautioned. Can you even break through them? Defense like that, and they still dare show up in my way? I laughed dryly. Even if they were made of solid iron, I'd punch right through. I didn't rely on brute force. I had methods. Extending a tendril, I focused it into a precision tool. The tip vibrated rapidly, buzzing with high-frequency sound waves, a sonic puncture technique tuned to pierce through defenses. With a thrust, I unleashed 18 tendrils simultaneously. 18 Ironhide zombies dropped instantly, heads destroyed in one synchronized strike. Another effortless victory. Each E-tier kill rewarded 100 co-op points. My total soared past 2,000 after that haul, triggering a system notification. Co-op points have exceeded 2,000. Unlock next phase rewards. Hell yeah, I shouted. Ding. Rewards unlocked. Max fire resistance. Finally, one of my weaknesses was covered. Fire, which I'd previously dreaded, was no longer a threat. I clenched my fists, unable to hide my excitement. Lung Wuyin, curious about my reaction, asked, Venom, why are you so happy? I coughed. The new strategy one just came up with. It worked even better than expected. Wait, why am I explaining myself to a mount? I'm not a mount, she huffed. I don't acknowledge it, no matter what. The stubborn girl pouted inside, quietly fuming over my dominant attitude. I couldn't help but chuckle internally. What a naive kid. Just as I was about to revel in my accomplishments further, I paused, sensing my body starting to absorb surplus energy. A trickle of energy flowed silently into her body, subtly enhancing her physique. Was this the accumulated effect from slaying countless beast monsters along the way? Quite the profit. In the original storyline, the symbiotic organism enjoyed gnawing on brains, drawn to the phenylethylamine inside as a quick energy conversion source. I couldn't bring myself to do the same, so I just aimed straight for the monster's head during battles, piercing it directly while absorbing energy in the process. No need to hunt for food. I could keep fighting endlessly. Gaining fire resistance only added to my excitement. I was eager to see the next set of rewards. Without pause, I darted through the forest, moving tens of meters in mere moments. E-rank swift monkeys? Kill. E-rank horn venom bugs? Kill. F-rank power pythons daring to slither into the heart of the forest? Kill. While folks near the outskirts struggled with low-tier monsters, the deep forest felt like an all-out war zone. A black reaper roamed the darkness. If I locked onto a target, its brain was guaranteed to be cracked open, the kill swift and final. Sweeping through half the central area of the forest, I used a piercing tendril to shatter the brain of a tumorous toad. Ding. Symbiotic points exceed 6,000, advancing to stage 3. Would you like to consume points and unlock a reward? That familiar system voice brought an inexplicable sensation of satisfaction. Yes. Ding. Successfully unlocked. Feature acquired. Weapon morph. My eyes lit up. It was a trait allowing my body to harden into weapons, even detaching hardened parts for ranged attacks. It filled a gap in my combat arsenal. I raised my arm, and, in an instant, a sleek black spear over a meter long materialized. The spearhead vibrated intensely, so fast it almost blurred. A high-frequency, oscillating, armor-piercing spear. I tested the weight, bent back like a drawn bow, and hurled it with force. With a deafening boom, the spear shattered the sound barrier, leaving a trail of white mist as it tore through the air like a blade. It penetrated multiple tree trunks without losing speed, quickly disappearing from sight. Meanwhile, on the edge of the forest center, a middle-aged butler stood on alert while watching Gu Shuyao, who was commanding a radiantly glowing fox. The creature lunged repeatedly at an E-rank, cloud-chasing leopard. Gu Shuyao's forehead glistened with sweat. Engaging a beast 10 levels above her was taking its toll. Miss Gu, finish this off and rest. Dawn's almost here. Your father will be worried, the butler urged. I know. Gu Shuyao grit her teeth. If I don't push myself, how can I hope to keep up with others? The butler sighed. You summoned an SS rank battle pet, the Flowing Radiance Fox. It's one of the best in Glimmer City's high schools. If you push this hard, what hope do the others have? Knock it off. Gu Shuyao shot him a glare. Stop buttering me up, old Gu. After this one I'll. Before she could finish, a faint black flash streaked through the air, piercing the cloud-chasing leopard. In an instant, the leopard exploded into a mist of blood and shattered flesh. The resulting sound wave only arrived seconds later, sharp and delayed. E-rank, beast defeated. 100 symbiotic points gained. Elsewhere, I paused mid-stride. A casual throw managed to kill an unlucky beast? Nice. Shaking my head, I dismissed the thought. I'd been out for nearly 3 hours, and dawn was just around the corner. Inside my body, Lung Wuyin had already started snoring. The energy continuously nourished her physique, but her mental fatigue was real. For a symbiotic being to function effectively, the host cooperation was key. Otherwise, energy consumption would skyrocket. I still had energy to spare but saw no reason to tempt fate. There was no rush to squeeze out every last point. The butler had immediately stepped in front of Gu Shuyao, shielding her like there had been an ambush. A veteran rank, 64 Beastmaster, his companion was a high-ridge eagle with extraordinary eyesight. Yet even with its help, he hadn't seen what had just struck. He'd only caught a fleeting, thin shadow, too fast for the eye to track. Old Gu, what was that just now? Gu Shuyao's voice trembled slightly. That power, it's ridiculous. Even a lower D-rank beast wouldn't stand a chance. This area is supposed to be capped at E-rank. What's going on? Peering out through the protective space created by the butler, Gu Shuyao felt a shiver. Whatever it was, if it had targeted her, she wouldn't have even had time to react before meeting her end. The butler's expression darkened. He shook his head slowly. I don't know either. But this place is no longer safe. We need to leave immediately. And this incident must be reported to the city's guard forces. Ring, ring, ring. Class dismissed. Finally, class is over. Let's go. Let's go. Northgate for some monster hunting. My battle beast's only level 8. This grind is so slow. You're at A rank and you think it's slow? My B rank's barely at 5. I'm literally dying out here. Less complaining and more action. We're not leaving until we hit level 10 today. The chatter snapped Lung Wuyin out of her sleep with a start. So noisy, she muttered, rubbing her eyes. Through her blurred vision, she spotted a figure approaching. The homeroom teacher? Why is he here? Wait, this isn't her house. Panic rising, Lung Wuyin scanned the room, only to realize she was back in the classroom, slumped over asleep. The teacher leaned in, speaking gently. Lung Wuyin, don't lose hope. Even if you've summoned a 0-rank battle pet and can't become a Beastmaster, there's still a path forward. Don't give up on yourself. Lung Wuyin gave a half-hearted nod, and the teacher sighed before leaving the room. As the door closed behind him, she snapped fully to alertness. Yin was utterly shocked. Venom, what the hell is going on? How did I end up in the classroom? I casually stuck my head out from behind her and replied in a laid-back tone. You didn't exactly wake up. You never stopped being asleep. That's not the point. Yin screamed, reaching out to grab me. I swiftly dodged. Didn't you say you didn't want to be late? You were sleeping so deeply. I just took over your body and brought you here myself. Problem solved. No tardies. Yin froze for a moment, remembering what she had said last night. He actually remembered. But this was absurd. Way more embarrassing than being late. She clenched her fists, feeling a mix of anger and fluster, though her defenses wavered just a bit. I floated lazily beside her, feigning nonchalance while secretly observing her emotions with sharp precision. I smirked inwardly. This ice-cold campus queen, man, her inner monologue is just wild. After classes, I dragged her out towards the city outskirts. Yin gritted her teeth. Are you some kind of battle maniac? Fighting till midnight last night, and now you're dragging me out again. I'm exhausted. I snapped back, exhausted my ass. Here, take a few steps. I released her from my control. Yin looked confused. What are you trying to pull? I replied coldly. If nothing's wrong, walk a couple of steps. Skeptical, she cautiously took a few steps forward and felt it immediately. Her body was impossibly light. No, not light. Her strength had skyrocketed. Yin practically flew towards the school track. She was already the type to push herself hard and had been at the top in every subject. Academics, beast studies, athletics, you name it. Standing on the track, she took a deep breath and started running. With each lap, her speed ramped up. What used to take her a minute per lap, she now blazed through in 40 seconds flat. 3 laps would normally leave her gasping for air, but now, 5 laps in and not even a drop of sweat. Her body was just starting to warm up. While running, Yin yelled, "Venom, what did you do to me?" I snorted. I'm this strong. What kind of loser would I be if my ride was weak? That's just embarrassing. In her mind, Yin fired back. What embarrassment? You're shameless. You're not even my master. 10 minutes later, she finally slowed to a stop after 20 laps, wiping off a faint sheen of sweat. So, where to now? I took control of her body again. North Gate, let's go. Yin balked. Wait. Let me catch my breath first. When we arrived at the North Gate, we were hit with bad news. A temporary closure due to an outburst in the controlled beast zone. A superior tier beast had emerged in the heart of the forest, culling the lower-class E-rank beasts in droves, and city guards were in the middle of securing the area. Yin paled a little, instinctively rubbing the tip of her nose. She turned to leave. Even though she was half asleep last night, aside from that one final spear throw, she remembered everything clearly. Quietly, she asked me, "Do you think we overdid it?" I sneered. Overdid what? Aren't those beasts there for us to train with? Whether we kill more or less, what difference does it make? My tone hardened. If North Gate's out, then East Gate it is. Yin hesitated. Maybe we should wait until North Gate reopens. I immediately cut her off. I'm the one in charge here. What I say goes. Clenching her fists, she grumbled. Fine. Geez, no need to shout. Beyond the South Gate lay a blend of terrains, rolling hills mixed with swamps, forests, plains, and sinkholes. Perfect ambush territory. With a swift hiss, my arm morphed into a high-frequency, vibrating black broadsword. One clean slash later, half the head of a venomous mist bat was lopped clean off. Defeated E-rank beast, plus 100 symbiosis points. I casually glanced at the accumulated points, barely over 3,000. Way too slow. Unlocking the second phase had already taken 6,000. The third would definitely cost way more. Hunting these beasts one by one. I wouldn't reach it in this lifetime. Retracting the black broadsword, I steered Yin deeper into the terrain. I needed to find a D-rank beast to really make some progress. Not far into our venture, I suddenly halted and leapt into a nearby tree to get a better view. Ahead, a dense horde was charging straight towards us. Before I could react, a girl burst out of the forest on the back of a gorgeous fox. Her face was a mess of dirt and frustration. It was none other than Shu Yaogu. She must have snuck out after North Gate was blocked, ditching her butler to grind some XP solo. But she overdid it, wandering too far in and stirring up the absolute worst opponents to encounter among F ranks. Inferno ants. These ants' shells gleamed like polished gold and were absurdly durable. Their defense rivaled iron-skinned zombies, and on death, they detonated with high-temperature flames as a last-ditch retaliation. For anyone underpowered, there were only 2 options: run or die. Even some D-rank trainers gave these nightmares a wide berth. But as soon as I saw that approaching swarm, my breathing quickened. The black cells in my body shuddered with delight. Symbiosis points. The ground was covered with symbiosis points. Shuyao looked back at the endless tide of ants, despair all over her face. Why the hell did I mess with them? I'm so dead now. Unless there's a beast trainer with speed-focused abilities above level 50 nearby, I'm toast. Her fox, beautiful as it was, wasn't built for speed. It lagged even behind the inferno ants. As the swarm closed in, despair darkened her gaze entirely. Then, suddenly, a black figure dropped from the trees up ahead. Her fox yelped, coming to a screeching halt. Shuyao herself was so startled she tumbled right off the fox's back. Oh God, another beast. A crimson tongue flicked out from within sharp black jaws lined with dagger-like teeth. His body was dark, his eyes piercing like silver blades, and his ferocity suggested he could devour someone alive. It's over, it's over. I'm really done for. Wah. A crisp voice interrupted her panicked rambling. Hey, can you be a little more polite? Gu Shuyao froze, her head jerking up in surprise. The long tongue and sharp fangs were gone, instead revealing a high nose bridge and a small, cherry-like mouth. Venom Woman's lips curved slightly as she spoke. Who are you calling a beast? Move aside. You're in my way. Before anyone could react, she grabbed Gu Shuyao with one hand and a fox with the other, flinging them both onto a large tree nearby, as if they were weightless. I glared. She dared to call me a beast? I should have finished her off with one strike. Lung Wuyan quickly interjected. Let it go. Don't take it personally. I cut her off. Save your breath. The ant tide's almost here. Listen to my orders for the rest of this. I turned and walked toward the impending swarm alone. Gu Shuyao panicked. Are you out of your mind? That's an ember gold ant tide. Even D-tier beasts avoid them. Without looking back, I raised my right hand. A massive, 10-meter-wide broadsword materialized out of thin air with a low vibration that trembled the very air around it. The ant tide closed the gap until their mandibles were frighteningly clear. Whirlwind strike. With one decisive slash, the front line of ember gold ants erupted, their fiery cores splattering the ground with blinding flames. Gu Shuyao was dumbstruck. This man didn't just pierce their defenses, he annihilated them with a single sweep. System notifications flooded my mind. In that single strike, over 40 ants were obliterated. But the more I killed, the more emerged. It was endless. Instead of despair, a manic thrill surged within me. Good. The more there were, the more points I could rack up. Raising my left hand, another vibrating massive broadsword appeared. Dual blades crossed. I grinned, baring teeth sharp as fangs. Blade storm. I spun rapidly, generating a cyclone of sheer destruction. The wind wall emanating from the blades shredded every ember gold ant swept into its grasp. The kill notifications continued to explode in my mind. The symbiotic points kept climbing. 5,000, 8,000, 12,000, 16,000, 20,000, 30,000. Ants fell en masse, their fiery deaths sparking explosions that fueled the storm into a blazing inferno, illuminating the skies in a fiery whirlwind visible for miles. Gu Shuyao stood frozen, heart pounding. She was witnessing the impossible, a lone man generating a literal cyclone with his body, mowing down the ant horde like blades of grass. This level of strength. It was unthinkable for someone whose battle companion hadn't even reached level 30. A wave of helplessness threatened to crush her, but she forced it down. Just because she wasn't there yet didn't mean she never would be. Across the battlefield, I noticed the rate of point accumulation had slowed, eventually stopping at 43,220. The remaining ants outside the storm? Likely all dealt with. I ceased spinning, allowing the cyclone to dissipate. The sky rained down charred ant corpses. Surveying the battlefield, the ground directly beneath me was carved into swirling gouges, while the surrounding grass had been reduced to ash by the fire. Thank goodness we weren't in the forest, or the fire would have become an uncontrollable disaster. At the storm's peak, the vortex reached temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees, like a glimpse into hell itself. Good thing I had fire resistance now. I patted off charred bits still smoking on my body and turned to leave. But after just 2 steps, my legs buckled, and I dropped to my knees, nearly losing my Venom form in the process. Venom, what's wrong with you? Lung Wuyan's calm shattered into panic in an instant. Ember gold ants, no phenylethylamine. My voice was faint. These beasts don't even have brains. Energy. I needed energy. Right now, I was like a drowning man gasping for air, on the edge of being swept away entirely. System. Use the symbiotic points. Unlock the reward. The system had hinted at the fourth stage once I surpassed 10,000 points earlier, but I was too caught up in the thrill to care. I couldn't afford to wait any longer. Unlocking was my only option for survival. Ding. Symbiotic points. 43,220. Complete unlock. Unlock confirmed. Fourth stage reward. Cold fusion reactor cell. Relief washed over me as strength returned. Cold fusion, a name I recognized instantly. Or, as some called it, the arc reactor. It was the epitome of stable, limitless energy. My Venom body had now transformed into a self-sustaining energy core, no longer dependent on phenylethylamine to survive. As I regained composure, curiosity prompted me to ask, System, what would I have unlocked if I'd done it back at 10,000 points? Crimson Symbiote. I understood immediately. The Crimson Symbiote, better known as Carnage, was powerful but still reliant on phenylethylamine, even if it was more efficient at processing it. Compared to a cold fusion reactor, it was no contest. Gratitude swelled in me for choosing the right moment. But then, the sound of footsteps broke my momentary calm. Gu Shuyao had approached. Seeing me suddenly collapse earlier, her heart now teetered on the edge of sheer panic. This man had just saved her life. If he died here, she wouldn't forgive herself for the rest of her days. Throwing caution to the wind, she rushed forward, kneeling in the soot-streaked dirt and cradling me on her lap. Are you okay? I'm fine. Just a bit drained. Lung Wuyan's cold and clear voice answered in my place. Still, I only showed half my face to her. The commotion I caused earlier was enough. Fully revealing myself would invite endless trouble. Within moments, my body's energy reserves rapidly replenished. Pushing myself upright, I stood again. You need to head back. This place. Unsafe. Huh? You're leaving just like that? I don't even know who you are. And why do you need to know? Thinking of repaying the favor. No need. I don't have anything I particularly want. Gu Shuyao's eyes darted, gleaming mischievously like her prismatic cloud fox. What if I tell you there's a secret realm filled with treasures, guarded by a horde of beasts? Tempted? Secret realms have been popping up everywhere since the resurgence of spiritual energy. Landscapes warped, and with the sudden surge of spiritual energy, secret realms began forming randomly, often brimming with treasures. The moment these treasures exuded their aura, beasts would congregate and grow stronger. Gu Shuyao had correctly guessed I'd react to this bait. After all, I'd fought an ant swam till exhaustion without retreating and set out the minute I'd recovered. Clearly, I was on the hunt for a target. She thought I was treasure-hungry, but she only got it half right. Yes, I love a good fight, but I couldn't care less about treasures. What truly draws me in is the horde of beasts inside the secret realms. They're practically a minefield of symbiosis points for me. Lung Wuyan turned to look at her, revealing only half her face. All right, where should we meet? West Gate. Gu Shuyao narrowed her eyes with a sly grin, as if she'd won this round. She studied Lung Wuyan carefully again, her confidence wavering slightly. Wait, are you from Second High, Gu Shuyao? Gu Shuyao's eyes lit up. Yes, that's me. You actually know me. You're from Second High too? No, that can't be right. Second High doesn't have someone as strong as you. After all, the strongest in Second High was her. Are you from another school? Can I see your face? This sudden burst of enthusiasm was enough to make Lung Wuyan's scalp tingle. She had always been aloof since she was a child, avoiding close relationships with anyone. I couldn't help but mutter, idiot. Lung Wuyan blushed instantly, and I quickly covered her face so no one could see. Tomorrow at the West Gate, I said, taking control of the body once again. Not in the mood for more chatter, I turned to leave. Gu Shuyao waved her hand playfully at my retreating figure, though her heart tightened. The high-nose bridge, flawless pale skin, naturally red lips, and a figure that didn't lack curves. But most importantly, that ridiculously overwhelming strength. Her first mission back in the city was going to be figuring out who this girl actually was. Let's head back, little fox. Yip yip yip. Meanwhile, I followed the trail left by the ant swarm, diving deeper into the jungle. The flame gold ants had proven to be quite the jackpot. Swarming beasts were the perfect fast track for farming symbiosis points. Taking out 10 or so nests, my points would skyrocket in no time. Pushing past some thick brush, the terrain abruptly changed to a barren expanse of rocky ground, devoid of greenery for about 30 meters surrounding a raised earth mound in the center. A slanted tunnel, about 2 meters tall, cut into the mound like a pitch-black maw threatening to swallow everything whole. Standing at the entrance, a wave of heat blasted my face, reminiscent of when I was once trapped within the eye of a blazing firestorm. I didn't head in recklessly. With that many in the swarm, no matter how strong I was, fighting them all in close quarters would be a death wish. Lung Wuyan scoffed. If you can't go in, force them out. Smoke them out with fire. I twitched an eye. They're fire attributed. You're just giving them a hot spa day. Embarrassed, Lung Wuyan flushed red once again. But I already had a plan. The tunnel was narrow, and its confined dark space amplified sound. Perfect for what I needed to do. With both hands, I transformed my arms into massive metal gongs and hammers. Then I swung down hard. Duong, duong, duong. The echo ricocheted inside the passage, multiplying in intensity with each reverberation. The deafening sound could likely knock an unprepared person unconscious, but I was immune to sound waves. Moments later, the ground began to tremble, a rhythmic upheaval, growing stronger with every pulse. Lethal venom. This is starting to freak me out, Lung Wuyan said, her face pale. What's there to be scared of? If the tunnel had multiple exits, I might be in trouble, but with only one way out. I grinned, coldly. Spreading my legs wide, I extended my arms to the sides, taking up the entire width of the tunnel's entrance. Black liquid oozed from my arms, weaving together into a stretchy, semi-transparent membrane that connected down to my legs, an impenetrable web sealing the opening shut. Lung Wuyan panicked. What are you doing? Before long, a dense black tide surged from within the tunnel. Flame gold ants spilled out like an overwhelming flood. They're coming. Lung Wuyan's voice cracked, her throat tightening. She knew that once those ants overtook us, we'd be shredded into bits in mere moments. But I barked back, watch me. Fixing my focus on the surging swarm, countless sword tips erupted from my body and the membrane in an instant. Infinite sword forge, piercing dominance. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Boom, boom, boom. The tunnel erupted into chaos. Countless black swords, slick and blade-sharp, rained down like a violent downpour, forcing the ant swarm back in waves. Each piercing strike could skewer 3 ants, while the 4th would be left maimed and incapacitated. System notifications of successful kills flooded my vision. Flames raged deeper within, only to be smothered by an even denser sword storm. After 2 relentless minutes, the system alerts finally came to a halt. I withdrew my swords and let out a slow exhale, rolling my shoulders to ease the tension in my muscles. You okay? Lung Wuyan's voice trembled. Fine, I replied simply. Swatting away the lingering smoke with my hand, I stepped into the tunnel. The passage floor was thick with the ashes of incinerated flame gold ants, so much so that even a single step sunk nearly to my ankles. Everywhere, black-hilted swords jutted out from the walls. With a flick of the tendrils on my back, I retracted them all. Following the faint traces of life, I carefully navigated through. The fork in the path led me straight into the depths of the cave. Here it was, the lair of the Ant Queen. The Flame Gold Ant Queen was only a D-rank beast. Weak on its own, with no real combat power to speak of, but its insane reproductive abilities were its true strength, capable of overwhelming intruders in a suffocating tide of flaming gold ants. Except now, it lay trembling on the breeding platform. Its body shuddered uncontrollably. It was afraid. Afraid of me, a creature that smelled human but carried a ferocity surpassing that of any beast. Not long ago, in a desperate attempt to bolster its forces, it had overdrawn its life force to summon more ants. Now, it couldn't muster even a single flame gold ant. Without wasting another second, my arm transformed into a blade, and with one swift slash, I cleaved the queen clean in half. Ding! You've killed a D-rank beast. Reward: 10,000 symbiosis points. I glanced at my total, 85,510. The swarm of ants at the cave's entrance had delivered a whopping 75,000 points. Adding my previous stash, I'd racked up over 100K during this trip alone. A tinge of regret surged within me. Beasts like this, point farms, weren't common. If the queen could still produce, I'd honestly consider keeping it alive just to farm points leisurely. Turning to leave, something caught my eye, and I paused. Doubling back to the split remains of the ant queen, I reached into its skull and retrieved a dull crystalline bead. Within it swirled an odd, unfamiliar energy. Absorbing the power without a second thought, I was hit with an epiphany. It was a fragment of reproductive essence. Social beasts could use it to amplify their breeding capabilities, while for humans or beastmasters, it could significantly enhance healing. Venom. What's this thing? How would I know? I've only been in this world for 2 days. Shouldn't you? No. Lung Wuyin's face flushed with embarrassment at my question. She didn't have a clue either, and it showed. Whatever. Let's head back. I'll ask someone tomorrow. I thought of Gu Shuyao. As a noble family's young lady, she was bound to know more about this kind of stuff. All right, I'll do whatever you say, Lung Wuyin murmured timidly. Slightly taken aback, I raised an eyebrow. What's with the obedience today? That night, Gu Shuyao lay sprawled on her bed, lazily scrolling through her tablet. Nope, not her. Not her either. Ugh, where's any info on this girl? Could it be she's not from this city? But that's impossible. I'm not that famous outside the city for people to recognize me. She stopped on a profile of a girl. Lung Wuyin, a cold, distant beauty with unmatched elegance from third high. Her lower face, well, it does have a nice symmetry. But seriously, no level? A beastmaster with no combat beasts or equipment. What a joke. It's not her either. Whatever. If I can't find her tonight, I'll try again tomorrow. Hours of fruitless searching later, Gu Shuyao finally tossed the tablet aside in frustration. Staring blankly at the ceiling, she drifted into her own thoughts. Back home, I leaned in close to Lung Wuyin, staring her down. You've been awfully quiet today. Got something to say? Spill it. Don't make me impatient. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out what this girl's deal was. Her thoughts were like a tangled mess, completely unreadable. TCH, women. What a headache. Lung Wuyin took a deep breath, steadying her chaotic heart. Venom, do you think I can ever become a real beastmaster? What do you mean by that? Are you doubting my strength? I raised a brow. Of course, I already knew what she wanted to say. I was just waiting for her to find the courage to admit it herself. No. Lung Wuyin immediately shook her head. I'm just afraid that I'm not good enough. Everyone else grows stronger alongside their battle beasts. They fight together, make decisions together, and in the end, become perfectly synchronized partners. But me, I feel like I'm just a parasite. I can't help you in battle. I don't make decisions. I just stand there, watching it all happen, useless. A black hand reached out and plopped itself on her head, ruffling her hair as though she were a cat. Like I said before, the master can't be weak. Your body's constantly evolving because I'm reconstructing it. You'll become a beast master in every sense of the word. We're one and the same, remember? Really? Her eyes lit up with a glimmer of hope. She didn't even flinch under my palm. If anything, she leaned into it slightly, her movements hesitant but yearning. On TV, she'd seen scenes of fathers gently encouraging their children with a similar head-patting gesture. It was an unfamiliar sensation to her, yet one she instinctively longed for. Venom, thank you. Overcome with emotion, Lung Wuyin impulsively lunged forward, throwing her arms around my head. But in a flash, I'd retracted my hand and dodged her embrace completely. Caught off guard, she stumbled forward, tripping and landing flat on the ground. Venom, what the heck? She cupped her nose, clearly sore from the impact, and glared at me, tears of frustration welling up. I just wanted to hug you to say thank you. Why is that such a big deal? You better show your master some respect, I said with a scoff, narrowing my eyes. Don't forget, you're just a mount. I don't care. I'm hugging you, whether you like it or not. Lung Wuyin nearly blurted out something about how even mounts lick their masters to show affection, but quickly swallowed the words, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. Little did she know, I could hear her thoughts loud and clear. Get lost. Nope. In the end, her attempts failed. Later that night, exhausted, Lung Wuyin drifted into sleep almost immediately. Beside her bed, I metamorphosed my symbiotic form and extended a tendril, slowly beginning to shift it into a new shape. A prototype handgun formed in my grasp, its sleek lines and contours taking shape. But just as I was on the verge of perfecting it, the form suddenly trembled and collapsed, dissolving back into its original state. Failed again. What am I missing? Despite possessing cells capable of cold nuclear fusion, capable of mimicking weapons to harden body parts, yet still unable to create firearms, I can only secretly suspect there are certain restrictions in place, hoping that future system rewards will break this limitation. At this moment, Lung Wuyin suddenly turned over, trembling as if trapped in a nightmare. Sweat beaded on her forehead, her brows furrowed deeply, and she murmured in a trembling voice, "No. Mom, Dad, don't go. I'm scared." I sighed softly and transformed into a thin layer of membrane, wrapping around her gently, like giving her a firm embrace to help her stay grounded. As a symbiote, I passively received the host's emotions. Even though I tried to remain calm, her fears subconsciously pulled me in, filling me with an overpowering sense of protectiveness. That night, Lung Wuyin slept peacefully, even with a faint smile gracing the corners of her lips. The next day after school, I led Lung Wuyin on an unnecessarily convoluted path before finally heading to the western gate. "Venom, why are we taking the long way? Gu Shuyao is already waiting. You'll find out in a moment." When Gu Shuyao saw a masked Lung Wuyin walking toward her from the south at the western gate, she looked utterly exasperated. "You're way too cautious. First high was in the city center, second high was in the east district, and third high was in the northern district. The direction someone approached from could easily reveal which school they attended. But since Lung Wuyin had approached from the south, there was no way to determine her school. This level of caution was over the top. As Lung Wuyin got nearer, Gu Shuyao raised her hands in mock surrender. "I was hoping to figure out which school you belonged to based on where you came from. But you deliberately took a detour. I lose." Realization dawned on Lung Wuyin, her eyes filled with surprise. It turned out that Venom had her take the roundabout way specifically to avoid revealing their originating location. Such meticulous forethought instilled a deep sense of reassurance and an unspoken inclination to rely on him. After this little episode, the two of them headed for the secret zone Gu Shuyao had mentioned. During the journey, Gu Shuyao asked, "By the way, I still don't know what to call you." Lung Wuyin thought for a moment before replying, "Venom." Gu Shuyao's eyes lit up. "Now, that's a wicked nickname. I like it." Even Lung Wuyin silently agreed in her heart. The pair moved swiftly, arriving at their destination in no time. In front of them lay a barren wasteland, devoid of any vegetation, completely desolate. Scanning their surroundings, Lung Wuyin asked, "Where's the secret zone?" Gu Shuyao smirked, walking to a certain spot and stomping down. The ground suddenly gave way, revealing a hidden entrance. "A beast tamer discovered it a few days ago and sold the information to my family. So far, we should be the first ones entering." The opening descended about 3 meters. Jumping down led to a passage sloping downward. The two advanced further, walking downward into the darkness. After what felt like ages, the space suddenly opened up into a cavernous area. Surrounded by jagged rocks, Gu Shuyao curiously remarked, "An underground cave?" Lung Wuyin tapped on the wall experimentally. "Why does this wall feel like metal?" Gu Shuyao explained, "Secret zones are influenced by spiritual energy and can take on all kinds of forms. Don't be surprised by anything you see." They continued forward, but suddenly came upon a corpse alongside the carcass of a metal-eating lizard, an E-rank demon beast. Gu Shuyao visibly tensed, rushing forward to inspect the wounds. She pressed her fingertips against her temple with a grim expression. "This is Yang Feiping, from our school. What's he doing here?" The name rang a bell for Lung Wuyin as well. Among the students in second high, there were only 2 SS rank beast tamers. Lung Wuyin and Gu Shuyao were renowned equals, and with the help of her battle beasts, Lung Wuyin often even came out on top. "Who says information can only be sold to one buyer?" I replied nonchalantly. "No time to waste. Let's go in before the treasure is snatched away," Gu Shuyao urged, stepping over the corpse. I pressed down on her shoulder before she could move further. "No rush. Let's clear the group ahead first. There's quite a number. From the shadows, a series of dark forms began crawling out. It was more of those metal-eating lizards. Gu Shuyao's expression darkened, immediately summoning her rainbow cloud fox. She could handle E-rank monsters, but facing so many at once would be a challenge. As she prepared to charge, I blocked her again. You stay put. Don't get in my way. Inside, I sneered silently. A swarm? I'll take all the symbiotic points myself. No one else is getting a share. Controlling Lung Wuyin's body, I advanced straight toward the swarm, summoning a massive greatsword 5 meters long and 2 meters wide with my right hand. Black liquid covered my face, creating a hauntingly fearsome visage. Gu Shuyao panicked. Venom, don't be reckless. You can't take on that many by yourself. I shot her a single icy glare, exuding killing intent so intense she immediately fell silent. In the shadows, my face appeared more terrifying than any monster. It wouldn't have been unreasonable for her to question who the real beast was. Ignoring her thoughts, I strode into the swarm. Gu Shuyao remained on edge at the back, ready to jump in at a moment's notice. Metal-eating lizards could secrete liquid metal that solidified into a tough shell, making their defense incredibly frustrating. For most people, breaking through would have been impossible, but they were up against me, someone specializing in armor-piercing attacks. As the lizards leaped toward me, I sliced through them with ease. 2 swipes, 1 decimated lizard. Their robust metal shells cut as though they were made of paper. Defeating an E-rank demon beast earns you 100 symbiotic points. The notification spammed my vision repeatedly. 10 minutes later, the swarm of lizards was completely annihilated. Emerging from the pile of corpses, I looked like a walking harbinger of death. This wave alone racked up an impressive 4,000 symbiotic points for me. Gu Shuyao was utterly dumbfounded. Those were E-rank monsters. How did you handle them so easily, like cutting through grass? Snapping back to her senses, her voice trembled slightly. Venom, what rank are you exactly? Could it be over level 40 already? She asked. I didn't even bother to reply. Lung Wuyin closed her eyes to sense the surroundings. Still no level. It seemed that the beast tamer techniques were completely useless against the venom. Gu Shuyao mumbled unhappily. Why act so aloof? We're all girls here. I replied flatly. Enough chatter. Think about how to keep the treasure from being snatched. Hearing that, Gu Shuyao jolted in realization. She grabbed my arm and rushed deeper into the cave, frantically saying, We absolutely can't let Yang Faping get it first. At the cave's end, 2 flowers with a metallic sheen spun slowly in midair. Gu Shuyao's eyes lit up. Its essence of the iron pear flower, one for each of us. Just as she stepped forward, suddenly, a figure was hurled from the darkness, landing heavily at our feet. It was none other than Yang Faping, blood at the corners of his mouth, his gaze distant. Upon seeing Gu Shuyao, he trembled as he spoke, urging us to leave immediately. It's a trap set by the demon beasts. They're waiting to eliminate the prodigies from Liuguang City. Before finishing his sentence, he coughed up a mouthful of blood and fainted on the spot. From the shadows came a sinister laugh. A creature with a wolf's head and a man's body emerged slowly. Gu Shuyao tensed instantly, her back going cold. I, on the other hand, just stared, puzzled by the sight of a beast with a human body and a wolf's head. In a low voice, Gu Shuyao explained, It's an avatar of the Demon Emperor. With General Yin Xiuhua stationed at the front lines, the Demon Emperor wouldn't dare to show up in their true form. But their avatar can slip past defenses to cause havoc in human territories. She added gravely, Even the weakest of these avatars is at least B rank and probably over level 60. Her expression darkened further as she took a deep breath and turned to me with steely resolve. You need to leave. I'll hold it off. The Demon Emperor's avatar laughed mockingly. Level 33, and you think you can stand in my way? He then added in a chilling tone, This body, even as an avatar, is at least level 67. Do you think you can hold me off just like that? Are you taking me for a joke? The avatar sneered. Even with that one beside you, who's barely. As his eyes locked on me, he froze. What? No level detected? He burst into laughter. A level 33 weakling, paired with a no-level nobody, and the one half dead on the ground. None of you are leaving this place alive today. Having your lives end at my hands is an honor. Gu Shuyao gritted her teeth as she summoned her multicolored cloud fox spirit beast. She stepped past me, ready to face the enemy. Venom, get out of here. If you don't leave now, it'll be too late, she shouted. But I firmly placed a hand on her shoulder, stopping her in her tracks. She turned back to shake her head, tears of frustration in her eyes. Don't be reckless. He's level 67. The difference is too vast. His target is the talented individuals, not someone like you. I'm sorry I dragged you into this, she said softly. I laughed coldly, my mouth curling into a sinister grin. You're loyal, I'll give you that. I like it. But did I hear you doubting my strength? Forget this pathetic avatar. If the demon emperor himself showed up, he'd leave here eating dust. I moved in front of her protectively, staring down the avatar. Foolish arrogance. The demon emperor's avatar, now enraged, surged with golden light as his entire body tensed. I am the golden mastiff wolf demon emperor. Even in my weakest form, my golden body is impervious, indestructible against A-rank attacks. Come, show me how you'll make me eat dust. He advanced with deliberate steps, looming closer. You'll pay dearly for that big mouth of yours. I've decided, you'll be the first I tear apart. His declaration was followed by a transformation. Both of his hands turned into massive wolf claws, so sharp they carved into the stone floor like butter. He wasn't in a rush to kill. He wanted to savor my terror and broken spirit. But not a flicker of fear crossed my face. Instead, I calmly raised a pitch-black weapon shaped like a long spear. Its design was strange, with a bulging tail end resembling a thin, elongated rocket. You think this is a game of pretend? Golden Mastiff Wolf growled, his anger boiling over. He suddenly leapt forward, explosively closing the distance with his claws outstretched, aiming to shred me to pieces. Venom, look out, Gu Shuyao cried, throwing herself toward me in an attempt to shield me from the strike. A killer's fury on one side and frantic desperation on the other. Just as the critical moment unfolded, I made my move. With a deafening hum, the tail end of the spear surged with terrifying power. The shaft began to spin rapidly, emitting a high-pitched whirring sound. As Golden Mastiff Wolf's avatar reached striking distance, I whipped the spear forward with sudden force. A shrill crack resonated through the air, the weapon's propulsion kicking into overdrive, pushing its speed to absurd levels. It tore through the space in front of me, a black streak so fast it seemed to slice through reality itself. The combination of its spinning trajectory and vibrations created an unparalleled piercing force, a dual-core energy-kinetic spear, far deadlier than its predecessor, amplifying its power twofold into a crushing force. An explosive boom followed. Golden Mastiff Wolf's indestructible, golden body shattered into fragments. His B-rank avatar obliterated instantly. The spear didn't stop there. It collided with the cavern wall, triggering another massive explosion that caused half the cave to collapse. You have slain a B-rank demon beast. Acquired 100,000 synergy points. Ding. Current synergy points, 189,510, exceeding the threshold for the 5th stage. Would you like to consume all points to unlock the reward? The shockwave from the blast sent Gu Shuyao tumbling backward, landing on the ground with a thud, too stunned to complain about the pain. She stared at me in absolute disbelief as if she had seen a ghost. Beside her, Lung Wuyan, whom I'd shielded, wore the same astonished expression. Both of them had only one thought running through their heads. One move. He killed the Demon Emperor's avatar with a single move? Gu Shuyao looked at the pile of shattered fragments scattered across the ground, then back at me, standing casually as if nothing had happened. A chill ran down her spine. In her eyes, I, cloaked in darkness, seemed far more monstrous than the avatar itself. What are you staring at? I snapped coldly. Grab the iron pear flower essence. This place is going to collapse. Snow-like debris started to fall, the top of the cave becoming unstable. Gu Shuyao snapped back to her senses, darted forward, and grabbed the iron pear flower essence before making a break for it. With a thunderous crash, the cave could no longer hold. Massive chunks from the ceiling caved in. I reached out, pulling the returning Gu Shuyao into my arms with one hand and clutching the unconscious Yang Faping with the other. Without skipping a beat, I bolted toward the exit. The collapsing passage chased us, but no matter how fast it crumbled, it couldn't catch up with my speed. Before long, all three of us burst out of the cave and landed firmly outside. I tossed young Faping onto the ground without a care and didn't bother to spare him another glance. Looking up at the night sky, I frowned. We'd set out at midday, yet somehow it was already dark. Stretching out my hand, I gestured to Gu Shuyao. Hand over some of the iron pear flower essence. I'm heading back. I only asked for one share, but Gu Shuyao gritted her teeth and shoved both portions into my hand. I raised a brow. You're giving it all up? Gu Shuyao beamed, shaking her head cheerfully. Not keeping it. I've been slacking the whole time. The gold-eating lizardling, the Emperor's fragmented avatar. You handled all of it. So, both shares are yours. You earned it. I accepted without hesitation. Fine. I'll take it then. From my pocket, I pulled out an energy crystal, the same type as the one that dropped from the flame gold ant queen, but this one was flawless, its aura rich and unbroken. Gu Shuyao gasped, feeling her breath catch. Is that a king-tier energy core? Her hand flew to her mouth as her eyes fixated on it, consumed with astonishment. King-tier energy cores are only born in king-tier beasts, containing their purest essence of power. But let's be real, most king-tier beasts would rather self-destruct than let themselves get looted. And even if you do get lucky, those cores are usually hollowed out, energy all but depleted. I've never seen one this pristine before. I extended it toward her. Want it? It's yours. Her eyes lit up like fireworks, her hands trembling as she reached out. Seriously? I can really have it. Just as her fingers were about to brush the core, I flipped my hand and pulled it back. Of course not. I stared at her, a sly grin stretching across my face, savoring her reaction. Gu Shuyao stomped on the ground in frustration. You. Feeling rather satisfied, I laughed. All right, mission's done. I'm out. Wait. You're leaving just like that. Gu Shuyao called after me, darting in front to block my path. I quirked an eyebrow. What? Regretting giving me both portions now? She snorted, clearly trying to maintain her pride. Not even a little bit. Lowering her tone, she hesitated. Can you at least leave me a phone number? You know, in case there's another secret realm I want to invite you to. I flicked her forehead, making her yelp in pain. Still trying to dig into my identity? Of course not. I just want to team up. That's it. She insisted, though her defiance sounded more like a timid excuse. I left her with this. Every day at noon, after school, I pass by the west gate. If you need me, wait there. With that, I turned and walked away, leaving her shouting after me. She stomped her foot again as she watched me disappear. It wasn't long before my phone buzzed in my pocket. It was Uncle Gu. Hello? Uncle Gu. His voice exploded through the line. Young lady, where the hell have you been? I've called you dozens of times. No answer. You trying to give me a heart attack? If something happened to you, how would I explain it to the old master? I tuned him out for the most part, quickly shifting focus. System, how many symbiosis points do I need for the 5th tier reward? 100,000. As I walked, my mind whirled. My current pool of symbiosis points had exceeded the requirement several times over. The higher the surplus points, the heftier the reward, but the threshold increased too. I wasn't worried in the slightest, though. After all, in this world, symbiosis points were everywhere for me to claim. System, burn all my points to unlock the reward. Ding. Current symbiosis points, 43,220, far surpassing the 4th tier requirement. Proceeding with full use unlock. Unlock successful. Super tier reward acquired. Adamantium alloy cell membrane. I froze in my tracks. Adamantium. Looking down at my arm, I could see it. My cells had visibly thickened, forming an unyielding layer. In other words, my physical defense had just hit its peak. System, what would the normal reward have been for hitting 100,000 points? Vibranium cell membrane. Vibranium was plenty strong, sure, but adamantium was on a whole other level. A grin spread on my face as I quickly figured out the pattern. The next threshold would probably hover near 400,000 points. That figure might sound daunting initially, but honestly, it just meant hunting down a few more A-tier beasts. If I ran into another golden mastiff wolf avatar, I'd probably just stand there, letting it punch me into exhaustion before flicking its head clean off. By the time I made it home, Lung Wuyan had conked out, thoroughly spent. Hovering my head midair, a tendril extended from my body, wrapping around the two iron pear flower essences and the king tier core I'd looted earlier. I already knew the king tier core harbored the Emperor's very essence. As for the iron pear flower essence, I hadn't bothered to ask Gu Shuyao what it actually did. Not that it mattered. I wasn't about to wait around. Swallowing them was the fastest way to find out. The two metallic blossoms slowly melted into my tendril. SSSSSS. A bizarre sound escaped my pitch-black body, comparable to a balloon slowly deflating. My chest tightened in response. Before I could react further, the system pinged. Metal energy source detected. Adamantium alloy cell membrane has evolved into adamantium energy alloy cell membrane. My eyes gleamed, the realization hitting me like lightning. Rewards could evolve. I ran a small-scale self-assessment, unable to suppress the giddy curve tugging at my lips. What had initially been pure, unyielding physical defense now gained an added feature: energy storage. On a whim, I split off one of my tendrils, morphing it into the form of a miniature, finely crafted sword. With a thrust forward, a wave of sword energy soared into the sky. I had gained a new move, the ability to release energy outward as a direct attack. This iron pear flower essence is just too insane, huh? If Gu Shuyao were here, she would certainly deny it on the spot. The energy from the iron pear flower essence was indeed pure, but normally its effects wouldn't exceed enhancing a metal's affinity for energy. Yet, I consumed two of them at once, causing a massive energy surge that forcibly transformed my adamantium alloy into energy-absorbing metal. Combined with my cold nuclear fusion cell structure, theoretically, I could release sword energy indefinitely. I didn't understand the principles behind it, nor did I care. As I stared at the remaining King-class energy crystal, I felt even more exhilarated. Wrapping the crystal orb in my energy, I guided it into my body. With a soft crack, it felt as though something shattered in my mind, and a stream of golden liquid energy coursed through me instantly. Accompanied by a series of cracking sounds, my bones and muscles resonated audibly. I closed my eyes to feel for a moment, then snapped them open. It was complete. The King-class energy crystal was far beyond the iron pear flower essence. It even contained a complete metal law. It could mark any metal it came into contact with, not only replicating it, but also allowing it to morph at will. And as luck would have it, my body already contained adamantium energy alloy. The combination of the two meant one thing: any beast that crossed my path from now on would only know despair. The next day at noon, after school, I kept my promise and went with Lung Wuyin to the western gate. As expected, Gu Shuyao was already waiting there, greeting Lung Wuyin with a wide smile from afar. "Good afternoon, Venom. Have you eaten? Want to grab lunch together?" Lung Wuyin maintained her cold expression. "If you have something to say, say it. Don't get too friendly." Gu Shuyao pouted in annoyance. After all, she was the proud school belle of Second High, youthful and charming. Boys couldn't resist her. But none of it seemed to matter to Venom. Lung Wuyin turned to leave. "If there's nothing, I'm going." "Wait. I do have something." Gu Shuyao stomped her foot in frustration. "I'm signing up for a Shadow Guard membership today. Want to join me?" "Shadow Guard? What's that?" Lung Wuyin frowned. Gu Shuyao's eyes gleamed, secretly pleased. So, she's actually clueless about this. Even her background must be pretty ordinary. On the surface, she remained composed. Shadow Guard, or the Shadow Defense Corps, is a secret organization hidden within society. They work in the shadows, assisting the city guard with missions. I understood immediately. It's an off-the-books plainclothes unit. And what are the perks? Gu Shuyao's eyes sparkled. There are tons of benefits. For example, catching spies allows you to deploy war beasts within the city and travel with the city guard outside the walls to wipe out classified beast strongholds. These strongholds are the beast's strategic hideouts. The amount of resources there is beyond imagination. Our Gu family may have some clout in Liuguang City, but compared to the Shadow Guard, it's nothing. Her words lit a fire in me. Having tasted the shared points from a B-class beast, worth 100,000, I had little interest in low-level prey. A single B-class beast could outweigh an entire hive of flame gold ants. I couldn't afford to waste time grinding in the low-tier beast seas. I needed more shared points, and low-class beasts weren't going to cut it anymore. Still, I didn't let my guard down. Will the Shadow Guard reveal our identities? Of course not. The name literally means staying in the shadows. Only the captain has access to member information. Even within the group, members are only known by their code names. One's identity being exposed could lead to immense trouble. I nodded. Where do we sign up? Follow me. Gu Shuyao winked. After winding through the city, we stopped at an inconspicuous, ordinary-looking civilian house. Its exterior was so unremarkable that passers-by wouldn't give it a second glance. Gu Shuyao lowered her voice. Don't be fooled by its plain appearance. The inside is a whole other story. She then put on a mask and pushed the door open. Inside, a seemingly elderly couple was busy cooking and looked puzzled when they saw us. Who are you two looking for? Did you come to the wrong house? Gu Shuyao cheerfully replied. That's right, we got the wrong house. We should have gone through the gate of national defense instead. The moment the passphrase was uttered, the couple's expressions changed, softening into kind smiles. Here to register? Open the wardrobe and step inside. Thank you, and sorry for the disturbance. Gu Shuyao pulled Lung Wuyan toward a wardrobe. Still somewhat stunned, Lung Wuyan hesitated, having briefly believed they had indeed walked into the wrong house. Opening the wardrobe revealed nothing but a few shirts and not the slightest hint of a mechanism. But Gu Shuyao walked right into it without hesitation. Lung Wuyan was about to cry out when the surface rippled like water, and the person passed through. My eyes narrowed. Spatial energy. After stepping through the rippling surface, the view opened up to a massive, dark fortress. Ahead of us stood grand gates where Gu Shuyao was waving them over. Come on, this is the entrance to the examination hall. No registration? Lung Wuyan asked, still somewhat surprised. Gu Shuyao grinned and said, as shadow guards, we remain hidden. Procedures are kept to a minimum. Only those who pass the test and officially become members have their records kept. Beyond the gates was a waiting area with only a couple of others scattered around. When the previous person had finished their test, a voice called out, next. Gu Shuyao stood up and winked at her. I'll go in first. It didn't take long before Gu Shuyao emerged, leaning against the doorframe, glowing with joy despite her evident fatigue. I did it, Venom. I actually passed. Lung Wuyan gave a slight nod. Congra. She. Inside, the voice called out again. Next. Lung Wuyan stepped into the examination hall, and the room was as vast as a stadium. At the center stood a masked, middle-aged man, his voice cold and stern. I'm the captain of the Flux Shadow Guard. Also, your examiner. State your name and age. Lung Wuyan, 18. The captain visibly froze for a moment. Lung Wuyan. He suddenly ripped off his mask, revealing a familiar, square face. Lung Wuyan's pupils contracted. Unclein, what are you doing here? Iangwa, usually just the owner of her neighborhood convenience store. During her toughest years as a child, he frequently came by to fix her appliances and change light bulbs. But he always had a strange way of vanishing, leading his wife to chastise him for sneaking off to loaf around. She'd grab him by the ear and scold him. Iangwa never talked back. He'd just laugh and diffuse the tension with a hug, which always managed to cool his wife's temper. Realization suddenly dawned on Lung Wuyan. So you were the captain of the Shadow Guard all along. No wonder you were always disappearing. Iangwa coughed twice, awkwardly steering the conversation aside. You know about the Shadow Guard? And you found this place too. Lung Wuyan grinned. Will you go easy on me since we're acquainted? Go easy. Iangwa's face darkened instantly. Not a chance. I'll push you 10 times harder. You don't realize how dangerous the Shadow Guard is. The casualty rate is no better than the city guards. For every mission, no one is guaranteed to come back alive. His tone grew heavier as he stared at her intently. To be honest, I don't want you joining the Shadow Guard. He knew her so well. She had no tiered battle beast and barely any combat power. Within 10 moves, force me to summon my battle beast. Otherwise, you fail this exam. The words barely left Iangwa's mouth before an oppressive aura erupted from him. A rank 72 Beastmaster, essentially on par with an A-rank monster. It was supposed to be a friendly examination match, but he'd raised the stakes by adding a life or death stipulation. At rank 60, a Beastmaster inherits half their battle beast's abilities. At rank 70, they share the full set. That meant he essentially wielded the might of 2 powerhouses. Forcing someone like that to summon their beast within 10 moves? next to impossible. Eongwa fully expected Lung Wuyin to back down. To his surprise, she only nodded, then crouched slightly, leaning into a combat stance. She was determined to fight. Eongwa's gaze darkened, but inside, he felt a pang of bitterness. The Shadow Guard was just too dangerous. This was the only way he could block her path without outright refusal. He stood still, unshakable. The enhanced strength and defense of his S-rank battle beast, the Dragon Crystal Titan Lion, coursed through him. Lower-tier attacks couldn't even scratch the surface. That was the source of his unflinching confidence. The next moment, Lung Wuyin's body was taken over by me. I didn't bother with drawn-out chatter and immediately treated him like a convenient test subject. With a sudden swing, I hurled a massive warhammer, larger than her own body, down onto the ground. The booming impact resonated deeply, unnerving everyone in earshot. It was a super-heavy hammer forged from adamant energy alloy. Eongwa's pupils contracted slightly. When did this girl develop the strength to even lift something like that? Her raw power was not to be underestimated. But he quickly suppressed his surprise. Coldly, he leveled his gaze at her. Even brute strength like yours means nothing against the Dragon Crystal Titan Lion. Give it up. No matter how hard you struggle, the gap in power levels isn't something you can overcome. I ignored him outright. The cold fusion reactor cells in this body roared to life, ruthlessly outputting nuclear energy and pouring it straight into the warhammer. If you sliced into that adamant energy alloy hammer right now, you'd see the green nuclear energy inside growing brighter and more volatile. From pale green to glimmering emerald to deep, vivid jade. So concentrated it felt like the energy might spill over. By the time the entire hammer began to quiver, vibrating as if on the brink of detonation, Eongwa felt a prickle of unease crawl up his spine. For the first time, he felt a genuine threat from Lung Wuyin. A threat of death. Impossible. Not even Gu Shuyao, the last SS rank candidate, had made him feel this way. Eongwa frowned deeply, suddenly realizing he might not know the girl he'd watched grow up at all. Just then, his earpiece crackled with urgent chatter. What is it? I'm in the middle of an exam. Captain, what's going on over there? Energy monitoring just picked up a terrifying surge near your location. The intensity, it could obliterate half the fortress. Eongwa's eyes widened in shock as his gaze snapped back to me. Charging complete. I tightened my grip on the hammer's handle, spun around, and unleashed the full force of a devastating swing. Take this. Nuclear Peacemaker. The hammer blazed with blinding green light, as though an entire bonfire of radioactive intensity had been unleashed upon the examination hall. Eongwa gave a thunderous shout and summoned the Dragon Crystal Titan Lion. The battle beast roared as it materialized. Man and beast both executed defensive maneuvers simultaneously, layers of crystalline barriers manifesting one after another to seal off the hall. Dozens of shields stacked in front of them. They were preparing to withstand the incoming blow head-on. In the next instant, the colossal hammer smashed into the crystalline barriers. Thud! The sound was seismic, resonating viscerally in everyone's chests. Boom! The dragon crystal's defenses shattered on the spot. The shockwave tore the examination hall to shreds, shaking the fortress with the force of a magnitude 7 earthquake. This move was an idea I'd come up with after receiving a reward last night. The concept was straightforward. Pack the weapon full of nuclear energy, then let it all loose in one devastating blow. Essentially, a personalized method for delivering an atomic bomb. Originally, I wanted to call the move Little Boy or Fat Man, but those names didn't feel intense enough. So instead, I went with Nuclear Peacemaker. The next time I come across a nest of ember gold ants, I won't have to waste time grinding them down. One swing of this, and the job's done. Inside, Lung Wuyin's face turned pale. It was her first time witnessing such an absurd display of power. Each time I unleashed my ultimate move, it was more terrifying than the last, as if there was no limit to its strength. Venom, did you kill Unklein? How could I? A level 72 beast tamer isn't that easy to kill, not to mention he has 2 A-class monsters as battle companions. Beast tamers aren't monsters. Killing them doesn't earn me symbiotic points. Why would I bother wasting that effort? Just as I finished speaking, 2 figures emerged from the dust, one large and one small. It was Eongwa and his battle beast, the Dragon Crystal Lion King. Eonghua looked disheveled, his face flushed with embarrassment, while the Lion King beside him kept its wary eyes on me, completely on guard. Not long ago, he had confidently claimed he'd let me take 10 moves. Within one, I had forced him to summon his battle beast, and he had almost ended up flying off from the impact. If he hadn't been cautious upon receiving an alert just in time, had he stood there showing off like before, he'd have sustained serious injuries. Outside, the commotion caused by the explosion sent shockwaves through the area. A group of shadow guards rushed in. "Commander, are you all right? Are you hurt? Commander, what happened here? Are beasts attacking the fortress?" Eonghua quickly put on his authoritative mask and deepened his voice. "What are you all doing here? No work left to do. I got a bit carried away with the new recruit assessment. The noise was a little excessive, that's all. Look at yourselves, scared stiff. How are you still calling yourselves shadow guards? What a disgrace. Get back to work. Tomorrow, all of you are running 50,000 laps around the fortress." He vented all his frustration from earlier with Lung Wuyin onto the group of guards, finally feeling somewhat appeased. The esteemed commander of the glimmering shadow guard, caught so off guard, it was such a humiliating moment for him. Later, he led us into a nearby office. Once inside, Eonghua removed his mask, his tone now a mix of resignation and complexity. "Xiaoyan, you've been hiding well. That so-called level-less battle beast of yours is fake, isn't it? What you actually summoned was a weapon, which means your real identity is a body refiner? We were all fooled by you." He let out a sigh, marveling at just how convincingly women like her could act. He almost believed her entirely. I gave a small shrug inwardly, too lazy to explain, and let Uncle Ongwa fill in the gaps with his imagination. After venting, he pulled a silver-black badge from the drawer and handed it to me. "In any case, congratulations, you passed the test. From today on, you're officially a shadow guard. Hiding in the dark, unsung, protecting humanity's front lines, carrying the burdens no one else can see. That's your duty as a shadow guard." I accepted the badge, which had a silver tree in the foreground and a black blade in the background, symbolizing the safeguarding of humanity, the great tree. Eonghua stared at the badge, his voice solemn. "Wear it on your chest, it will bind with your life. When you die, it self-destructs. No information about the shadow guard will ever leak. Don't underestimate it. This little thing can accept missions, serve as a communication device, and solve 99% of problems you might encounter. It also contains 10 square meters of storage space for supplies." I froze for a moment while holding the badge. Isn't this just a high-tech smart terminal combined with a storage ring? On the market, people fight tooth and nail over even 1 square meter of dimensional storage, and the Shadow Guard just casually hands out 10. Talk about generosity. Eongwa's face turned into a beaming smile. "It's convenient, right? Shadow Guards use code names to communicate. Have you decided on yours?" I nodded. "I have, it's Venom." Eongwa frowned. "That name is way too ominous. Sounds too much like a beast." I blew up on the spot. "Old man, you want to die? Was being obliterated by the ambassador of nuclear peace not enough for you? I'll give you another round." Lung Wuyin quickly restrained me, giving Eongwa an exasperated glance. "Uncle Ongwa, could you stop getting on his nerves?" Eongwa waved his hand dismissively. All right, keep it in check and don't flaunt the badge around. Don't expose your identity. If there's nothing else, head out. The ruckus earlier was immense. I've got to clean it up." Once outside the fortress, Lung Wuyin opened the door to find Gu Shuyao pacing anxiously. Gu Shuyao rushed over. "Venom, how did it go? Did you pass?" Lung Wuyin nodded. Gu Shuyao jumped excitedly. "That's amazing. I knew you could do it. You're so powerful. From now on, we're colleagues, Comrade Venom." Lung Wuyin smiled faintly and patted her head. Although Gu Shuyao was a whole head shorter than her, she was so clingy that even Lung's cold demeanor had softened over time. I suddenly lowered my voice to speak to Lung Wuyin. "Venom, I need to ask a favor." "What's up?" "Gu Shuyao's helped us so much. Shouldn't we thank her properly?" I huffed. "Didn't I give her that iron pear spirit yesterday? She's the one who declined it." Though my words were sharp, I was already mentally considering how to repay the favor. If Gu Shuyao hadn't guided us into the secret realm, the adamantium alloy wouldn't have evolved into energy alloy. and I wouldn't have been able to create the ambassador of nuclear peace trump card. As the thought crossed my mind, I suddenly had an idea. Gu Shuyao, come with me. I've got a gift for you. Gu Shuyao blinked in surprise. Huh? A gift? What kind of gift? Though she was puzzled, she obediently followed along. The two of us left the city and found a quiet, secluded spot to stop. Now, I debated what to give. Should I make her a nuclear energy grenade? With a throw range of 100 meters, impact radius of 2 kilometers? Translator's notes. Xiaoyan is an affectionate way of addressing someone younger or with whom the speaker is close. It literally means little yin. Iron pear spirit, mentioned here, could possibly refer to a rare, valuable item mentioned in the original storyline. No way, this is called a gift, not sending someone off to be sacrificed. After thinking it over, I decided to go with something that looks average but is secretly lethal. I raised my right hand, and out of nowhere, a desert eagle materialized in my palm. Gu Shuyao stared at the gun with a soft, huh? I've seen this before. Isn't it one of those ancient weapons? The word, ancient, almost choked me to death, but when I thought about it again, it's already 2662. I suppose it really counts as an antique. Gu Shuyao frowned. Why are you giving me this? They've been useless since the spiritual energy recovery 500 years ago. Couldn't even kill a lowly G-class beast. Basically, just a decoration. With a flourish, I spun the gun in my hand. This isn't like what you're imagining. Watch closely. I casually pointed at an empty patch of land in the distance and pulled the trigger. Boom. A deep green nuclear energy laser tore through the air, leaving a crater 20 meters wide and 5 meters deep where it struck. Gu Shuyao froze right on the spot, her eyes as round as saucers. That kind of power was comparable to the full-force attack of a B-class beast. I recharged the gun and tossed it over to her. It's got 7 rounds total. This is your trump card for emergencies. Use one, and you've got one less. Don't waste it. Gu Shuyao held the gun like it was a fragile treasure, carefully placing it into her Shadow Guard badge. Overcome with emotion, she lunged at me with a hug. Venom, thank you. This is the best gift I've ever gotten. I tried to dodge, but with Lung Wuyin standing still right there, I ended up trapped in the middle with nowhere to go. Lung Wuyin reached out and casually ruffled Gu Shuyao's hair. Meanwhile, I frowned, feeling somewhat annoyed. Seriously, this girl, she may look like an innocent lowly with her baby face, but her hugs pack a lot of force. The next few days, I turned every inch of a 10-kilometer radius around Liuguang City upside down. I took out 5 C-class beasts, and the number of D and E-class beasts I defeated was uncountable. As for the G and F-class ones, I didn't even bother giving them a second glance. One day while wandering around the city, I glanced at my symbiosis points. A little over 150,000, not even halfway to the 400,000 I need. At this rate, it's hard to say how long this grind will take. Sure, there are plenty of beasts outside the city, but the higher-level ones have become scarcer and scarcer. C-class beasts were already becoming rare, and my earning rate for points had hit rock bottom. Once Gu Shuyao figured out how to use the Shadow Guard badge to contact us, she stopped standing around by the west gate like an idiot. But her luck? It was so bad, it verged on tragic. The first day, she almost got injured by an unidentified attack at the north gate. Day 2, she got chased down half the city by a swarm of flame golden ants at the east gate. On the third day, she accidentally stepped into a secret realm at the west gate and stumbled directly into a beast emperor's trap. Seeing how cursed her luck was, her family held a meeting to discuss it. They came to one unanimous conclusion. She's not to leave alone anymore. Anywhere she went now had to be approved, and a caretaker had to go with her. Every night, she held her Shadow Guard badge, sobbing about how controlling and unreasonable her family was. I'm not a kid anymore, she'd cry. Lung Wuyin used to envy her for having someone to care about her. Not anymore. Now she has me. One night, Gu Shuyao was her usual self, venting all her complaints to Lung Wuyin. Suddenly, her badge trembled, a command coming through. Unknown beast sighted in the east zone of Liuguang City. 5 Shadow Guard members are to report to the east gate immediately and assist the city guard in investigation. Gu Shuyao had gotten the same message and erupted on the other end. I want to go too. I want to go too. Before Lung Wuyin could respond, I had already taken control of her body and dashed out of the house. In less than 2 minutes, I reached the east gate from the north district. But by the time I got there, someone was already ahead of me. The man glanced my way. Shadow Guard badge. We both raised our badges at the same time. Windborn. Venom. I nodded and didn't say more. Before long, 3 others arrived one after another. Berserker, Lifeline, and Knight. Berserker was the team lead and wasted no time delegating tasks. Windborn, Reconnaissance. Lifeline, Support and Recovery. Knight, Free assist as needed. Venom, Main firepower. Barrier clearing. Knight immediately scowled. Hold up, Venom? Never heard of him. Newbie this year. Berserker confirmed it with a nod. Knight's voice dropped. You're putting a rookie in the primary offensive role? Too risky. Let me handle it instead. Berserker's tone turned icy. Follow orders. We move now. Coordinate with the city guard. Yes, sir, ×3. The 3 of them sneaked suspicious glances my way, all of them filled with doubt. Whatever their reasons, kicking Knight out of the offensive position had raised questions. Just who was this Venom? Our group of 5 dashed off, catching up to the city guards in fewer than 10 minutes. Berserker went to liaise with them while the rest of us stayed put to await further instructions. While we waited, Windborn spoke up. First time working together. Let's lay our cards on the table now. Better than screwing up coordination later. Windborn. Level 55 speed type tamer. Specializes in recon. Lifeline. Level 52 support/recovery type, she said curtly in a low voice. Knight. Level 60 damage dealer, specializes in crowd control. The 3 of them turned their gazes to me. Venom. No official level. Damage and defense both work. What? Their faces immediately changed. A tamer with no level? How do you even make it into the Shadow Guard? Lifeline blurted out before she could stop herself. Windborn and Knight said nothing, but their silence was just as loud. It wasn't hard to figure out what they were thinking, most likely assuming I was some rich family's spoiled brat, paying my way in to earn some unearned prestige. Not bothering to engage further, they all quietly acted like I didn't exist, clearly with no expectations for me to contribute much to the mission. Usage. The Knight took the initiative to move to the firepower position. Not long after, Mad Falcon returned to the team. The second he walked in, he noticed something was wrong. The 3 were clearly distancing themselves from the newbie. He didn't bother addressing it, and simply stated that this beast assault was very unusual, with a large number infiltrating at once, requiring the city guard army to engage in coordinated combat. Their task was to clear the obstacles along the route to prevent unnecessary losses for the city guard army. In the darkness, Knight clenched his fists. 50 meters away, a D-rank beast suddenly clutched its neck and let out a miserable scream, as if something was strangling it, but it couldn't grasp anything. The more it clawed at itself, the worse it got, to the point it ripped off its own flesh from its neck. In the next second, a crack echoed as its neck snapped. Its head tilted lifelessly. It was dead. Knight shook off his hand, as if he had simply completed a trivial task. I stood nearby, clicking my tongue in amazement. That move, so sinister, yet so ruthless. The group continued forward, with the army's main forces 5 kilometers behind. Mad Falcon took out his badge. Wind Spirit, report the next target's location. 2 kilometers ahead, 3 o'clock direction. Got it. Just as Mad Falcon was about to put away his badge, Wind Spirit's voice urgently came through. Wait, they're moving. Another one just showed up. Damn, I've been spotted, it's a C-rank beast. The sound exploded, cutting off his words entirely. Mad Falcon's face turned dark instantly. Before he could give orders, another loud explosion erupted beside him, leaving a massive crater in the ground where I had been standing moments earlier. Captain, Poison Vein just rushed in. Damn, his speed is insane. Life Pulse yelled. Mad Falcon pressed his forehead in frustration. Reckless. Even if you're rescuing someone, stick to formation. Move. The 3 of them immediately chased after me. Life Pulse and Knight ran in silence because my rush forward gave them a new perspective on me. Seeing someone who rushes into danger upon hearing a teammate is in trouble, that's someone you don't mind having your back on the battlefield. Too bad they didn't know my actual thoughts because I would have scorned them so much if I had. Who said I was out here to save someone? I couldn't care less about Wind Spirit's life or death. My target? That C-rank beast. That's 10,000 synergy points. Try me if you dare. I was absurdly fast at the moment. Energy wrapped around my feet. Each step I took detonated the ground, blasting me forward 100 meters per leap. Speed-wise, I had no complaints. The issue? Straight-line motion only. Turning was simply impossible. Soon enough, I caught sight of Wind Spirit being relentlessly pursued by a blood-red, giant leopard. The beast was massive, comparable to an elephant. Its oppressive aura came right at you. Wind Spirit, riding his spirit steed, had his shirt shredded into rags across his back, looking beyond pitiful, yet somehow remained uninjured. Upon spotting Poison Vein sprinting toward him, Wind Spirit's whole being froze. You've lost your damn mind. That's a C-rank Bloodwind leopard. Are you here to die? Go back now. He absolutely couldn't wrap his head around it. Where did a zero-ranked, no-name Beastmaster even get the nerve to rush in? At his own rank of 55, specializing in speed-based tactics, even, he was being chased to the brink of death. The thought of how terrifying this leopard should have been obvious. Anxiety crept into Wind Spirit's chest. He couldn't take this thing down. Running alone was already pushing his limits. But now, with Poison Vein standing here, if he kept running, the guy would undoubtedly die on the spot. And if he stayed to fight, the one most likely to die would be himself. Gritting his teeth, he made a tough decision. He would drag this out somehow. Wind Spirit abruptly skidded to a halt, spinning around to face the beast. His heart was screaming internally. Poison Vein, you've royally screwed me over. He hadn't even begun strategizing when, not even a minute later, I caught up before any of the others could arrive. Seeing Wind Spirit stop to defend itself, the Bloodwind leopard only got more excited. Not only could it feast on a decently strong Beastmaster today, but there was also a bonus snack just within reach. A low growl from its throat signaled the start. It lunged forward with claws gleaming like deadly hooks. At 20 meters away, the beast closed the distance quicker than a blink. But it wasn't quick enough to beat me. As the Bloodwind leopard leaped, I had already unsheathed my blade, charging it up. 1/2 intersecting energy waves blazed through the air, heading straight for its chest and abdomen. Bloodwind leopard shuddered. Its tail and spinal cord instinctively twisted, barely dodging the X-shaped energy midair. Its instincts screamed, "This human is extremely dangerous. Avoid at all costs." It planned to touch down and flee, never intending to fight head-on. But seeing it sidestep my attack, my lips curled into a small smirk. I've slain 5 C-rank beasts already. Of course, I know their habits. Aside from that Golden Mastiff Wolf Emperor's clone that fancied itself impervious to damage, all higher-rank beasts share one thing in common: hypersensitivity. The moment the Bloodwind leopard hit the ground, my hand was already on my next move. Without pause, a single upward slash came crashing down. No preparation. No warning. Mountain-cracking slash. The Bloodwind leopard didn't even have time to react, getting cleanly sliced into two in midair, landing with 2 solid thuds. Wind Spirit stood frozen, utterly dumbfounded. A C-rank beast, instantly killed. You actually killed it. How is this even possible? I thought you were an unranked Beastmaster. Wind Spirit's brain struggled to process what just happened. All he saw was Poison Vein channeling his power into dual blades, slashing out energy crescents like they were sword beams. In the blink of an eye, the Bloodwind leopard lay dead. Everything happened ridiculously fast, not even a second before the whole thing ended. I didn't care to explain myself. 10,000 synergy points, successfully added. That much closer to my goal of 400,000. Before long, Mad Falcon's trio showed up. Lifeline noticed Spirit Wind struggling and immediately moved closer, summoning her battle beast. What emerged was a butterfly almost half as tall as a person. Its powder could quickly stop bleeding and heal injuries, even restoring mental energy. Just a few scratches on your back. It's no big deal. Lifeline, thank you. I've lost track of how many times I owe you. Mad Falcon glanced at the corpse of the Bloodwind leopard, then looked at Spirit Wind. What happened? Gritting his teeth, Spirit Wind defended himself. Captain, we got played. Venom is no ordinary Beastmaster. That Bloodwind leopard didn't even last one move against him. One move to take down a Class C beast. Both Lifeline and Knight turned to me, disbelief written all over their faces. Even Knight, who prided himself on being formidable at level 60, wouldn't guarantee killing something like that in under 10 moves. How could I pull it off in just one? What do you mean? No ordinary Beastmaster. Mad Falcon was clearly confused and didn't hesitate to use his Shadow Guard badge to check the records. Venom. Rank. Body Refiner. Designation. Output unpredictable. A body refiner? Not a Beastmaster. And a ranking like that, unusually vague. Knight finally pieced it together, glancing my way with emerging clarity. No wonder I was filling the offense spot on the team. Spirit Wind and Lifeline, unfamiliar with this term, seemed a little lost. But Spirit Wind, having personally taken a hit from me earlier, knew just how brutal my strength was. Mad Falcon pulled his gaze back, his tone serious. All right, Spirit Wind, recover as much as you can and continue scouting. Don't stray too far. A Class C beast appearing out of nowhere? It's likely we've been exposed already. Spirit Wind nodded, changed into fresh clothes, and mounted his mount to scout ahead. The rest of us kept back to move strategically whenever needed. He'd report any updates. On the way, Lifeline discreetly asked Knight using the badge, "What exactly is a body refiner?" Calmly, Knight responded, "The basics are in the badge's resource library, but here's the short version. Some people can't summon beasts during their initiation ritual. Instead, they summon lifeless objects like weapons or armor. They aren't useless, though. They can still grow stronger, just in a much harsher way. In this era of spiritual energy, humans don't just summon beasts. Our bodies receive enhancements too. Up to level 60, a person can withstand their beast's raw power without their physical form breaking down. Beyond that, their synchronization with their beast's strength becomes paramount. Body refiners, however, bypass the whole beast leveling system entirely. From the start, they forge their physical bodies through intense training and constant stress on their own limits. Brutal work. It's almost self-destructive. Traditional rules don't apply to them. As if that's not enough, their summoned weapons give them an added amplification, spiking their combat power even more. In the early stages, they're terrifying. Beastmasters themselves are relatively weak in direct combat, so body refiners have the upper hand there. But once Beastmasters hit level 60 or higher, that's when body refiners start struggling. By level 70, it's almost impossible for them to keep up. Bearing the pressures of both their own capabilities and their enemies is unsustainable. Two fists can't take on four hands. Knight added after a pause. Venom taking down that Bloodwind Leopard in one move puts his combat strength somewhere in the level 60 to level 70 tier. Lifeline nodded, having gained some perspective. For the next hour, we worked like a well-oiled machine. Spirit Wind scouted ahead, the rest of us followed. Knight controlled the battlefield, and I used long-range sword attacks to finish off enemies. Suddenly, Spirit Wind sent a panicked alert. We found a swarm of beasts up ahead. Pre-frontline outpost. 15 D ranks, 50 E ranks. Mad Falcon's eyes gleamed with realization. If there's an outpost here, that means the main base can't be far off. He turned his focus to me. Venom, can you silently neutralize them? I nodded. I can. I have to. The four of us reached Spirit Wind's hiding spot. About 800 meters ahead, a cluster of grotesque beasts gathered with a few keeping vigilant guard. All eyes turned to me. Without wasting a word, I moved toward the left front quadrant, slipping into stealth mode. Covered in all black gear, I blended seamlessly into the darkness. After just 20 meters, I vanished completely, even from Spirit Wind's own sight. Tension gripped the team. This new Shadow Guard operative of theirs didn't just boast absurdly high attack power. His stealth capabilities were nearly supernatural. I crept within 100 meters of the beast cluster. Even at this range, not a single one noticed me. And why would they? Venom's natural talent for concealment made him ideal for missions like this. But truth be told, ever since my reincarnation, I preferred fighting head-on in outright annihilations. Explosions over subtlety. This mission, however, demanded discretion. If it weren't for that, these D and E-class beasts wouldn't even be worth wasting tools on. One nuclear peacemaker, and I'd have wiped them out in seconds. Scrolling through my skill arsenal, I debated strategies. Blade Storm, Infinite Blade Works, Nuclear Piercer, or Nuclear Peacemaker. Every option packed too much punch for stealth. Not exactly subtle. Then, I had an idea. Reaching into my consciousness, I called out. Cold Wu Yen. HM, what's up? She responded lazily. Watching my every move had become her entertainment. I was her personal gladiator, and each one of my fights thrilled her. Let me take full control of your body for a moment, but mimic my movements and pay close attention. Memorize the muscle mechanics. Huh. Control. Sure, she understood. But memorizing movements? That was new. Trying to keep my impatience in check, I explained. Follow my lead. Match me exactly. Take this as real-time training. Oh, fine. No more questions. She followed my instructions. Trust, despite her own doubts. In the shadows, the monsters shifted between alert and distracted, unaware of the death that approached them, scythe raised high. Move lighter. Every step calculated. No rushing. Aim for the neck. Quickest kill shot. Silences them before they can react. Extend your blade, inch by inch. Let it just barely touch their guard. Strike fast. Pin them immediately. Drag them into the shadows. No noise. Eliminate their ability to struggle or counterattack. Now's the time. Go for it. Strike and pull them back. A whisper sounded like a death sentence. Lung Wuyin became more composed the more she killed, her movements increasingly precise and efficient. Always sharp-witted by nature, paired with the enhancements I had been training this body for, she could now subdue D-level beasts barehanded through sheer physical strength alone. C-level beasts fell one after the other, their numbers diminishing rapidly. By the time the last two C-levels remained, she no longer even needed my guidance. Silently creeping up on them, she ended them with a single slash to the throat, dragging their lifeless bodies into the darkness. C-levels are cleared. Only D-levels left now. They seem to have sensed that something's wrong. Can you quietly take out the ones outside before they fully react? Lung Wuyin thought for a moment and nodded. I can, but I'll need you to boost me. Fine, I'll assist this time. All right. Suddenly, she smiled. It was as if peach blossoms blossomed across the night sky. I was momentarily taken aback, not understanding why she was smiling, only thinking that her smile was stunningly beautiful. Lung Wuyin, however, felt wholly satisfied. She was finally able to be of use. She didn't quite get why I was always pushing her to learn these killing techniques, but as long as I needed her, she was happy. In the darkness, a shadow wielding a black sword moved ceaselessly. Each time she passed, a life was extinguished. Starting from the outermost perimeter, she deliberately avoided alarming the denser groups of beasts inside. Swish, swish, squelch. By the time she moved to the next location, the first beast had barely hit the ground. 50 D-level beasts were eradicated in 10 seconds. Including the previous C-level beasts that took 40 minutes, the entire task was done in 40 minutes and 10 seconds. Well done. Take a break now, I said. MMHM. Call me if you need me again. Lung Wuyin murmured through labored breaths, her voice faint and weak. The high-intensity combat had drained both her energy and spirit. I retrieved the Shadow Guard insignia, speaking into it. It's all handled. Come here. 2 minutes later, Ling Feng, Kuang Xiao, and a few others arrived, staring at me with complicated expressions. I frowned. What is it? Did I take too long? No. Ling Feng shook his hands frantically. That speed is perfectly normal, even faster than average. Kuang Xiao sighed. It's just that the team details and the insignia really undersold you. Stealth, assassination. It was like you were a professional assassin and your speed was unmatched. Where did this monster even come from? This year's Shadow Guards must have hit the jackpot. The group left with conflicted feelings, leaving me alone. This mission had been the easiest one of their entire Shadow Guard careers. Yet what none of them, myself included, noticed was a sinister presence 10 meters away. A vine clung to a tree trunk, its body disturbingly sporting a pair of cold, staring eyes fixed on us. In a desolate location, a group of humanoid beasts with beastly heads sat gathered around, watching their eyes on the scene's feed. Kuang Xiao, Ling Feng, Ming Mai, and Yi, old acquaintances, all of them. But that thin, shadowy guy, is he the target we're supposed to eliminate this time? Another nodded. Correct. The message from the main body said it was his doing that killed the Golden Agu Wolf's fragment body. Huh, that fool, Golden Agu Wolf, brought disgrace to the Beast Emperor's name. Imagine his fragment, killed instantly, by a measly human, and he struts around claiming to be the best in defense. How shameless. The mockery came with Venom. They were clearly on poor terms with Golden Agu Wolf. Enough bickering. According to Golden Agu Wolf's intel, this guy is likely among the top tier of the current generation of human offspring. We cannot allow him time to mature. One Yin Xiuhua was enough to set back our plans by 70 years. We can't afford another delay. Who'll handle it? The beasts exchanged glances, hesitant to volunteer. They all had their own assignments, targeting promising human talents in other cities. The task for Liuguang City had originally been Golden Agu Wolf's responsibility. Not only had he failed, but his fragment was eliminated in the process. I'll go. A beast stepped forward, its head burning bright red as if engulfed in flames. After dividing their tasks, the beasts prepared to scatter. However, the white horse-headed fragment of the Beast Emperor stopped them and placed a hand on each one. When it was the red-headed beast's turn, it growled impatiently. What's this for, Baize? Baize smiled. Relax. It's just a monitoring measure per the main body's instructions. If anyone fails again, at least we can transmit crucial data back. If your mission succeeds, it can be erased using a surge of energy. Zhu Rong snorted. Do you think we're on the level of that trash Golden Agu Wolf? East suburbs of Liuguang City. The Shadow Guard squad notified the City Guard army upon locating the beast's nesting grounds, retreating immediately after. Their job was strictly to pave the way. Direct confrontation wasn't their responsibility. Yet the more they thought about it, the stranger it seemed. The lair was filled with 3-meter-high hard-horned beasts, terribly imposing to look at, but ultimately just F-rank beasts. Even 200 of them were nowhere near as threatening as the earlier outpost encounter. It was as if the entrance flanked with strong opponents led straight into a yard full of soft targets. Our 5-person group completed the mission and made our way back to the city. Midway, Yi suddenly paused. I looked at him in confusion, while the others shook their heads in exasperation. It was happening again. Yi always fought with strict control, but deep down, he was obsessed with combat. If he ever encountered a shadow guard stronger than himself, he couldn't resist the urge to challenge them. Sure enough, I want a rematch. Challenge me. Knight stared at me, his eyes burning with fighting spirit. How boring. I couldn't be bothered to entertain him. Who even are you to challenge me? I'm busy. If every random person could just call me out, I'd never get a moment's peace. Knight wasn't giving up. Don't be so quick to refuse. How about I sweeten the pot with my mission reward as a token of apology for the challenge? Mission reward? Is it worth anything? I glanced at Mad Falcon. Mad Falcon nodded. Usually, nah, but for your first mission, definitely worth it. I perked up a little, turned to Knight, and gave a sly grin. All right, you're on. The moment I agreed, the other 3 stepped back, clearing out the space for just the 2 of us. I remained firmly planted in place. Knight kicked off the fight by summoning his battle beast. Shadow Beast, come out. A feral creature of pure darkness emerged. Rare species. And crucially, it was S-class. On the sidelines, the others started murmuring. Think Knight can win? Venom always seemed stronger than him. No way. The damage gap's just too wide. Knight's only level 60. Against a tempered body Venom, he's probably getting checkmated in seconds. But Mad Falcon chimed in. Not necessarily. If Venom gets cocky and Knight lands a first strike, things could get messy real quick. In the fight zone, Knight and his shadow beast slammed their hands on the ground in unison. Swish, dozens of shadowy tendrils shot up around me, binding my limbs, waist, and neck in an instant. Still, I didn't move, now tightly wrapped up like a gift. Vital Pulse and Spirit Wind exchanged uneasy glances. Was I really caught? Seriously underestimating the opponent here. Knight's move didn't look that fierce, but each shadow carried immense force, about 1,000 pounds of tension per strand, tight enough to constrict and crush. With dozens of them, even the toughest bodies wouldn't last long. Mad Falcon sighed. Kid's gotten cocky. But hey, it happens. Let him take the loss. Consider it a lesson from a senior to a rookie. Losing here doesn't cost much. The 3 held their breath to see how it would play out. Knight lifted his hand, fingers gradually closing. Everyone assumed the fight was decided. Half a minute passed. The black cocoon remained unmoving, the battle suspended mid-stride. Spirit Wind inhaled sharply. What if Knight squeezed too hard and accidentally choked Venom to death? Vital Pulse shook his head. Nope, Life signs are steady as ever. Then Mad Falcon's voice dropped to a whisper. No, wait. Look at Knight. Knight was drenched in sweat, teeth clenched, and glaring at his own hand like it was stuck, his fingers refusing to close all the way. I don't believe this. Knight roared, summoning all his strength for a final squeeze. A crunch echoed. Seemingly, he'd finally crushed something. Knight's eyes lit up, convinced he'd won. But from inside the shadows came a deep, relaxed sigh. Ah, that's nice, really works out the kinks. 5 stars for the massage. Then everyone watched, stunned, as I casually walked out of the shadows, completely unharmed. The shadowy binds? They might as well have been imaginary. Knight froze in shock. The 3 observing looked equally dumbfounded. 0 injuries? My defense was absurd. Suddenly, Spirit Wind and Vital Pulse remembered my self-introduction. Venom. No level cap. Both offense and defense unmatched. Translation: my attack and defense stats weren't even on the same spectrum as theirs. Panic set in for Knight, who commanded every shadow at his disposal to restrain me all over again. But no matter how viciously they attacked, they couldn't hold down my monstrous body. Energy surged through me, hissing like steam venting out. The next second, boom, I erupted. Taking a single step forward, I created a crater beneath my feet, the shadows around me shredded into oblivion and disintegrating in midair. The recoil hit Knight and his shadow beast hard, both of them vomiting blood as they collapsed where they stood. I advanced, slow and deliberate, the corners of my sharp-toothed grin stretching impossibly wide. My crimson tongue flicked lazily. Knight was paralyzed in place, his mind blank. Wait, it wasn't a mask? Why was it moving? Stopping directly in front of him, I grabbed his neck, lifting him like a helpless kitten. Heh. Been ages since I've had a good meal. Wonder if your brain's tasty. The shadow beast rushed forward to protect its master, only for me to slap it aside like an annoying insect. Knight grabbed at my arm desperately, trembling head to toe. The stench of death was real and suffocating. I opened my jaws wide, so wide they dwarfed Knight's head. Just as he prepared for the end, I abruptly tossed him aside like garbage. EW. Not worth it. You'd just give me a stomachache. Without another glance, I turned and walked toward the eastern gate. It wasn't until my silhouette vanished that Knight, collapsed on the ground, finally dared to breathe again. In that moment, he genuinely thought he was done for. As I strolled on, I felt elated. Oh, it had been far too long since I'd gotten to grind someone into the dirt like that. Cold Wu Yen avoided fighting me. Gu Shuyao? Nowhere to be found. But then along came this little fool, Knight, practically begging for a life lesson. Perfect for blowing off some steam. The next day after school, I headed straight to the Dark Fortress. Mad Falcon mentioned last night that my first mission reward would stack, even higher thanks to Knight's antics. Winding my way through residential alleys, I entered the fortress and made my way toward the supply depot. The staff member glanced at the badge I handed over, eyebrows raising. First mission payout, and it stacked? Courtesy of Knight's contribution? Then he looked up, locking eyes with me. You're the one who... Venom. I frowned. I'm Venom. What's up? The staff member immediately chuckled. You're a hero around here, you know. That guy Knight always drags people into sparring matches whenever he's got free time. It's annoying as hell. Everyone's terrified of him because he trains so aggressively. But when he came back last night, he suddenly seemed subdued. Turns out, he got absolutely wrecked by a newcomer. Venom, flattened and humiliated. You steamrolled him. The staff member leaned closer, lowering his voice conspiratorially. Rumor has it that his legs were trembling when he came back. If you didn't know better, you'd think he got beaten to a pulp somewhere out there. Inside me, Lungwen nearly burst out laughing and barely held it in, her flush revealing a smirk I couldn't hide. I snorted lightly. Picking a fight with me for no reason? Serves him right. The staff member waved his hand dismissively. Anyway, we owe you one on behalf of the crew. Oh, and before you go in, whatever you do, don't go to the second floor on the right. Nothing worth it there, I promise. With that, he shoved a badge back into my hand and gestured for me to enter. I raised an eyebrow. Suspicious. That was way too obviously worded to not be intentional. But as soon as I stepped into the treasure vault, it all clicked. Welcome to the Shadow Guard Treasure Vault. Selection time, 2 minutes. Bonus from rewards increases selection time to 4 minutes. Please make your choices quickly. A countdown timer appeared on the wall. My gaze sharpened as I headed directly upstairs, toward the right area. Void Crystal pulls a target into a 5-minute void space, rendering them immune to damage, though unable to move. Glowing glass armor, lightweight full-body armor capable of nullifying attacks below Class C and enduring one full-force strike from a Class B beast. I scoffed. Not as durable as my adamantium energy alloy. Spirit Essence Fruit boosts body constitution to the level of a Class C beast. I glanced at it and moved on without hesitation. I already had Lung Wuyan. That was plenty. As I ventured deeper into the treasure trove's second floor on the right, hard-hitting artifacts filled every corner. Any single item here would provoke outright bloodshed beyond these walls. But sadly, or luckily for me, most weren't stronger than my own abilities. Either they were impractical, or I simply didn't need them yet. After another loop around, the timer ticked down to just 30 seconds. Yet, I wasn't in a hurry. Something caught my eye, a small, unassuming orb. King Class Origin Essence. Host unknown, with flawless radiance and potent energy. Something so rare and costly. And yet it was left sitting here for me to stumble upon? But realization came quickly. Host unknown. That label warned of unstable elemental properties. The stronger its energy, the higher the risk of misalignment, and fatal consequences if handled wrong. Like giving fire elemental essence to a water-aligned beast. At best, it's ruined. At worst, it explodes on the spot. But for me, this was perfect. The energy felt familiar, almost identical to the origin essence I saw explode from the flame gold queen ant. Only more pure, stronger. This was it. I grabbed the orb and left the dark fortress. The Shadow Guard badge in my hand buzzed relentlessly, spilling messages from Gu Shuyao like an incessant alarm. Venom, how did the operation go last night? Spill the details. Tell me everything. Ugh, I want to go so badly. Why is my life so unfair? Poor me, such a miserable little cabbage. I groaned internally, wishing the damned badge had a mute button. Keep whining, and I'll duct tape your mouth shut. Oh, go ahead. Come find me, then. My house is at. Uffed. Lung Wuyan lost it, her laughter echoing in my mind. I twitched but bit my tongue. The fearsome reputation of Venom reduced to this by a chatty little girl. Great. Ignoring her completely, I left for the city outskirts. Once I reached a deserted spot, I pulled out the King Class Origin Essence. The last orb from the Flame Gold Queen ant was nearly drained, just a sliver of its energy left. Not enough for anything substantial, just enough for a taste. But this? A complete, untouched version. Time to find out just how far this law of proliferation energy could go. The crystal ball melted into my palm. I closed my eyes and let myself feel it. An explosion of vitality coursed through me. Like grasslands sprouting up in spring or mountain branches budding after rain, waves of life surged endlessly through my veins. I couldn't help but inhale sharply. The sensation overwhelmed me. This wasn't a simple law of life. It leaned heavily toward proliferation and multiplication. And it just so happened to align perfectly with my ultimate skill. Swish. My arm transformed almost instantly into a broad blade. Venom's core ability, to shape-shift at will, relied on extreme cellular division and regeneration. Now, with proliferation reinforcing it, my cells split and regenerated several times faster. What used to take 0.5 seconds to morph, now it didn't even take 0.1 seconds anymore. Don't underestimate those milliseconds. In a real battle, the smallest delay could mean the difference between surviving or getting torn to pieces. And this tiny speed advantage was often the key to victory. I stretched experimentally, feeling the power in every fiber of my being surge and intensify. It was time for today's hunt. That night, we returned home. I detached myself from Lung Wuyan's form, exposing my face. Extending a small tendril, I reached for the Shadow Guard badge and started scanning for high-tier beast activity in nearby cities. Today had been grueling. I'd only racked up 8,000 symbiosis points. Pathetic. I hadn't encountered anything above a Class D beast all day. Staring at the glaring gap between my balance and the 20,000 mark, never mind the 40,000 I actually needed, I clenched my fists. At this pace, how long would it take? Years? Just as I contemplated my next move, Gu Xiao's message popped up again via the badge. Venom, Are you still in the city? What do you want? I'm busy, and I'm not here to listen to your whining. Hee hee, it's not that. I snuck out. Come meet me. We haven't seen each other in so long. I rolled my eyes, about to close the message when suddenly, the pale, slender hand held me in place. It was Lung Wu Yin. Venom, let's check on her. She's been under such tight watch by her family for so long. I feel bad for her. Gu Shu Yao complained all the time, but Lung Wu Yin already considered her a friend. Left with no choice, I retracted the emblem, wrapping Lung Wu Yin up, leaving just the lower half of her face exposed as we leapt out of the window. Soon, I spotted Gu Shu Yao curled up in the corner. As Lung Wu Yin was about to step forward, I froze her body in place. Venom, what's wrong? There are about a dozen strange life energies around her. They're surrounding her. Servants. Doesn't seem like it. She said she snuck out, and those energies don't feel like normal humans. I'll handle it. Lung Wu Yin nodded and released control. I completely enveloped her face and melted her entire form into the shadows. The city glimmered brightly at night, yet there was always room for those hidden in the depths of darkness. As a top-tier hunter, Venom thrived in those shadows. With eerie movements clinging to the dark, evading every speck of light, I circled behind Gu Shu Yao. Oblivious, she peeked nervously over her shoulder, completely unaware of the danger lurking right behind her. Covering her mouth with one hand, I instantly pulled her into the shadows. Her heart immediately surged with panic, just as she was about to struggle. Don't make a sound. It's me. You've been targeted. Lung Wu Yan's calm, quiet voice whispered against her ear. She steadied herself, though confusion clouded her expression. She stole away from her family, so how were others tailing her? I swiftly moved her to another location, keeping a watchful eye on where she had been. Within less than a minute, 10 figures appeared right where she had been. Where did she go? She disappeared all of a sudden. I saw her retreat, thought she was staying put, and then, nothing. Did someone spot us? Impossible. We've studied that Gu family girl through and through. She doesn't have anti-surveillance skills. Fan out and search. She absolutely cannot return to the Gu family. We have to make her spill who her companions were that entered the secret realm that day. Otherwise, if the new demon emperor arrives, and we can't deliver, we're all dead. Understood. Despite the distance, neither I nor Gu Shu Yao could hear their murmurs clearly. But Gu Shu Yao's trembling hand suddenly pointed to one of them, her face pale as a sheet. That's him, Venom. He's the one who sold us the information about the secret realm that day. It all made sense in an instant. A traitor. Even with their leader dead, this group dared to continue their schemes in the city. As they began their search, dividing into pairs, I told Gu Shu Yao to contact the Shadow Guard while I melded seamlessly back into the darkness to close in. Venom, be careful. Gu Shu Yao called softly into the shadows as I left without looking back. Sucking in a deep breath, she clutched her emblem. This is Rual Wu. Spotted potential demonic infiltrators in the North District. Venom is in pursuit. Requesting backup. Pursuit was merely formal. Whenever I moved, there was only one outcome. Death. I asked Lung Wu Yin if she wanted to join me. She hesitated. While she could slay demonic beasts, she wasn't prepared to take human lives yet. But this was the task I entrusted to her. Gritting her teeth, she was about to respond affirmatively. Instead, I raised a hand and dissolved the membrane covering her head, showing her own face. From behind, my tendrils shaped into a hand, gently brushing through her hair. Next time, you're not ready just yet. The 10 scattered searchers had no idea that death was already stalking silently from behind. Hey, number 5, what do you think happened to that girl? Why the sudden vanishing act? Number 4 surveyed the surroundings, his eyes bloodshot from the intensity. Other areas always seem to have bosses surviving while their minions fall. We're the opposite. Our boss is gone, and it's just us hanging on. The new boss gets here in 2 days. Wonder if they'll be easy to deal with. Hey, number 5, why ain't you saying? Number 4 glanced back. Number 5 was frozen in place, clawing desperately at a pitch-black hand pinning him. He looked nailed to the ground. Behind him loomed a slender, shadowy figure. Fangs stretched wide across its face, its blood-red tongue swaying ominously. Number 5 was trembling uncontrollably, his face turning a dark shade of purple from sheer terror. Crack. The shadow's grip twisted. Number five's head snapped to the side, and his breath left him for good. Beep, beep, beep. The life detection device on number four's body started shrieking, alerting the group to a member's death. Life detection triggered immediate alarms whenever someone perished. The Shadow's eyes scanned the device on number four with eerie calm. Chilling to his very bones, number four spun on his heel and bolted. How could this thing emerge without a single sound and take out number five on the spot? But wasn't their group blessed by the Demon Emperor's split soul? Wouldn't that ward off demons from attacking them? That left only one possibility. This was a person. A human even deadlier than any demon. Through the device, number one's voice barked. Number four. What happened to number five? His detector's going off. Number four didn't bother replying. Death itself seemed to be chasing him. Only one thing lingered in his mind: run. A flash of green energy zipped past his line of sight, and in the same instant, darkness consumed his vision. Blade energy swept across. Number four's head rolled to the ground, and I moved swiftly toward the next quarry. It didn't matter if they realized they'd been exposed. None of them were escaping tonight. When number four's detector also sounded, number one's face darkened. Scatter. Everyone. Don't stick together. If one survives, that's enough. If you can't escape, shift forms and stall. Understood, X7. They thought preparation would let them slip away. But against an assassin of Venom's caliber, there's no scenario where they'd make it out alive. Here's the English translation in a way that maintains the tone and essence, aligning with American storytelling and expressions. It's a joke. Beep, beep, beep. The detection sounds blared. 7, 6, 10, 9, one after another. Yet, without a single sound, the figures fell silently to the ground. Some barely began transforming when a green blade of energy sliced through the darkness, interrupting not only their change, but their lives. By the time two was dead, one was covered in cold sweat. 500 meters to the north gate felt like an impassable abyss. Only two words occupied his mind. I'm doomed. One couldn't wait any longer. He transformed on the spot. A surge of strange energy exploded within his body. His skin split inch by inch, muscles and tendons flipping outward. His frame ballooned larger, and shattered pieces of his skin hardened into armored plates, covering him entirely in mere seconds. And then, from the corner of darkness, came a green blade of energy. One's right arm was cut in half, dangling by mere scraps of flesh. He howled in pain, holding his mangled arm against his body, eyes locked on the shadows. TCH, you're pretty sharp. At least you got to transform, came a calm, mocking voice. I stepped out of the shadows, slim, dressed entirely in black, a daunting 5-meter-wide blade resting on my shoulder. Behind me, alarms erupted across the city's command center and the dark fortress. Alert! Alert! Beast energy detected in the city. Alert! Alert! Beast energy detected. Classification: sea-level beast. The alarms plunged the city into chaos. I didn't care. My eyes stayed fixed on one. He was no longer remotely human, wolf-like with crimson-red eyes, claws gleaming under the sporadic lights. Still, he feigned a strike, only to whirl and flee without hesitation. One sprinted down 2 streets. But the moment I activated the energy underfoot, I explosively closed the gap. With a roar of green blade energy, I struck again. Desperate, one raised his half-destroyed arm to block it. The remains of his limb shattered into pieces. I closed the gap entirely, driving my foot downward with force. Boom. One was blasted into the air, crashing into a nearby wall before collapsing into a heap on the ground. What remained of the wall crumbled behind him, revealing a stunned middle-aged woman just standing there, a cell phone frozen in her hand. Lady Xiaoyan. Cold Wu Yan's voice cracked in alarm. One didn't know her, and frankly, he didn't care. To him, she was a gift-wrapped hostage. He lunged at her with his left arm outstretched. Poison veins. Wu Yan cried. Rage swelled within me. Energy poured into my blade, surging as its size multiplied explosively. Slam. The blade struck first, pinning one's left arm to the ground before it could reach the woman. A growl of sheer desperation escaped one as he bared his teeth. He abandoned the failed plan to snatch her and instead lunged toward Gui Xiaoyun with his wolfish maw wide open. If I'm going down, I'm taking someone with me. He roared, his voice dripping with malice. You call yourselves defenders of humanity? Then watch her die. Bear that guilt for the rest of your lives. He cackled wildly. His monstrous jaws loomed over Gue Xiaoyun, mere seconds away from tearing her apart when his eyes glistened with triumphant anticipation. He thought he had already won. But in the very next moment, I launched like a bullet. With my right hand gripping the massive blade like a drawn bow, I propelled myself forward. The nuclear energy in my core ignited, exploding from my back in a blast that combined with my momentum. Together, the force accelerated me beyond sound. In a heartbeat, almost to the speed of light. Boom! I crashed straight through one's body, turning him to pulp. His wolfish jaws shattered into mere particles. Standing there amid the carnage, smoke rising off my frame from the heat of friction against the air, I growled. In front of me, there's nothing you can do. Gue Xiaoyun stood frozen, the faint voice of a panicked caller echoing from her phone. She didn't move. How could she? From the moment one lunged at her to when I obliterated him, less than a second had passed. If I hadn't absorbed the essence of a king-tier beast and refined my cellular responsiveness to within 0.1 milliseconds, I wouldn't have made it in time. I turned to look at her, bloodied and monstrous from head to toe, with sharp fangs exposed, and the moment her eyes met mine, she collapsed. Looks like we scared her unconscious, I muttered uneasily. Scared or not, cold Wu Yan's voice echoed within me. It's better than dead. I sighed, gently laying Xiaoyan down and exhaling a puff of scorching mist. My back core was almost drained from that maneuver, nearly a third of my nuclear energy depleted. Just then, my badge buzzed with a message from Gu Shuyao. Venom, are you okay? Were you near the explosions? The city guards are on their way. Hang in there. The guards were coming? I couldn't stick around. Looking like this, the fewer people who saw me, the better. On my way out, Wu Yan's voice trembled in my mind. Thank you, Venom. My aunt almost. Don't mention it, I said casually. But she knew better. She knew that every time I expelled that blistering hot mist, it meant I'd pushed myself to the brink. Just like during the flame ant swarm. And yet, I always acted as if nothing happened, like it was no big deal. So stubborn it was infuriating. But damned if it didn't make someone feel safe. So safe it left you warm to your core. The next day at school, whispers filled the halls. Last night, a beast snuck into the city. No wonder it was so noisy. The city guard kept passing right in front of my house. Was anyone hurt? According to the news, just some property damage. The beast was killed on the spot. City guards took care of it. Not exactly. By the time they arrived, it was over. I heard it was one of the city's defenders who did it. Their methods were extreme. The beast's body was unrecognizable. That's why they call them the Lethal Protector. I raised an eyebrow in my mind. This title somehow followed me even here. Lung Wuyin was listening with great interest, her lips twitching from her struggle to keep from smiling. Venom, they're talking about you, saying you're the guardian. Oh, I've heard it enough times, I replied indifferently, keeping my usual calm demeanor. Lung Wuyin let out a scoff. Is there anything besides fighting that gets you excited? I didn't bother explaining. This name wasn't new to me. Morning classes ended, and the two of us had just stepped outside the school gate when my shadow guard badge buzzed. A message came in from Yonghua, the leader of the Glimmer Squad. Venom, come to the Dark Fortress. We weren't surprised. His wife had nearly been devoured last night, only to be rescued by an old acquaintance. Meeting us face to face was inevitable. Once inside the Dark Fortress, we headed straight to the leader's office. Yonghua was staring at the security footage playback. On the screen, half of Gue Qian's body was already in the jaws of a wolf-like beast. His trembling fingers betrayed the suffocating mix of rage and lingering fear. He had been the one on the phone with Gue Qiaoyan last night. A pack of beasts suddenly showed up in the city, and while heading back to manage the crisis, he tried to explain things to her over the phone. But what he didn't anticipate was that the call would almost be her last words. No matter how seasoned and battle-hardened he was, the weight of that moment was too much to bear. He looked up, his voice tight with emotion. Xiaoyan, Lung Wuyin cut him off bluntly. Leader, we're on the clock now. My name is Venom. There's no need to thank me. After all, you and your team have helped me countless times. This was simply my duty. The leader took a deep breath. I'm being too sentimental. Venom, on behalf of Glimmer City, I thank you for intervening in time. You prevented massive destruction and saved the lives of everyone in the city. You performed outstandingly. The Shadow Guard has decided to reward you. If there's anything specific you want, just say the word. The Treasure Pavilion may not have it, but if it's within the capabilities of a 72-level Beastmaster like me, I'll make it happen. I remained silent for a few moments. I'd already seen all the treasures in the pavilion during my last visit. None of them really held much appeal for me. What I truly lacked were symbiotic points, and these could only be earned by killing high-level beasts. I want battle. Find me a place where the beasts are at least sea level, but not too far away. I've combed through the surrounding areas and nearby cities. There are some targets, but they're too far. Just getting there would take over a day, which is a huge waste of time. The leader was momentarily stunned, staring at Venom. This usually quiet yet unyielding girl. Deep down, she turned out to be a battle maniac. Sea level and above, but not far away. Suddenly his eyes lit up, as if he'd thought of something. Follow me. He led us into a secret room inside the fortress. Opening a dusty drawer in the records room, the leader retrieved a sealed envelope. The envelope emitted a faint red glow, the mist inside swirling like blood. Lung Wuyan frowned at it. What's this? The leader spoke softly, a pass to the domain of the Blood Moon. The domain of the Blood Moon? What's that? Lung Wuyan asked, baffled. I wasn't familiar with it either. Even after thoroughly searching the Shadow Guard's database through my badge, I'd never come across anything like this. The leader explained. The domain of the Blood Moon is an independent subspace. A crimson moon looms eternally over the land, dyeing the skies and terrain in red. The area is vast, the size of Antarctica from my past life. Spiritual energy there is so chaotic that even the most fearsome beasts lose the capacity for higher thought, driven only by bloodlust and survival instincts. Beasts within its boundaries are no weaker than sea level, with the strongest reaching S level or beyond. Every year, around this time, the energy within the domain destabilizes, thinning its dimensional barriers. Using a method left behind by one of humanity's few SSS-level beastmasters, people can temporarily enter this strange world to train. But there are strict entry requirements. You must be under 20 years old and below level 60. Anyone exceeding these limits risks drawing the domain's volatile energy onto themselves, effectively painting a target on their back. As a result, most entrants are talented youths averaging around level 55. In the domain of the Blood Moon, training gains aren't realized immediately. All accumulated experience is suppressed until exiting, when a lump sum is granted. Those who make it out typically gain at least 5 levels. Even Flame Xiuhua, the current generation's lone SSS-level beastmaster, ventured into this domain in her youth. Rumor has it that when she emerged, she leapt 15 levels in one go, from level 59 to level 74, securing her place as the strongest of her time. The leader finished detailing the rules, carefully placing the glowing envelope into my hands. His eyes shimmered with old memories. He and Flame Xiuhua had come from the same generation, having personally witnessed the rise of legends. Grasping the envelope, I felt a surge of excitement. Finally, a reliable source of symbiotic points. 400,000 were just within reach. How do I use it? Find a secluded place and tear open the envelope. At 8 p.m. tonight, other top talents from different cities will also gather to form a team and enter the domain. Do you want to set out tonight? I can notify the others. Sure. I nodded decisively. Opportunities like this can't be wasted. After leaving the fortress, I decided to stay within the city. With the domain of the Blood Moon waiting for me, the usual beasts roaming around were hardly worth my attention. By evening, Lung Wuyan had been dragged into yet another one of Gu Shuyao's complaints. That girl was practically a magnet for misfortune. After mishaps at the north, east, and west gates, she'd somehow caused more trouble, without even reaching the city gates last night. Now, the idea of leaving town alone was utterly off the table. Whoa, my family discovered a very well-hidden secret realm. After investigating, they said it's pretty safe. The secret realm opens the night after tomorrow, meaning tomorrow night. They're gathering and leaving tomorrow morning. But I don't want to go with them. I want to go with you. Venom, will you come? It's a secret realm. Lung Wuyan could only politely decline. They were heading to the Blood Moon territory, which was no less dangerous or interesting than a secret realm, Plus, it wasn't clear how long they'd be staying. Fine, I'm going to die of boredom then. Gu Shuyao sulked pitifully, her voice coming through her badge without missing a beat. Lung Weyan couldn't help but entertain a wry smile, but chose not to comment. Yet, the phrase 2 days later caused an unexplainable sense of urgency to rise in me. I felt like I'd heard the same timeline mentioned somewhere else before. I brushed off the thought. What mattered most now was the Blood Moon territory. At exactly 8 o'clock, I took out that bizarre, eerie red letter and decisively tore it open. A hissing sound erupted as the envelope split open, spewing out an eruption of red light. The light gathered and coalesced like a living entity, forcibly forming a warped, oval-shaped portal. This red glow, it's spatial energy. But it's warped, unstable, it won't last long. Sure enough, just as the portal stretched to the height of a person, it began to rapidly shrink. Without hesitation, I stepped through. On the other side of the portal was a desolate wasteland. In the sky hung a blood-red moon, projecting an eerie, bone-chilling aura. As soon as I landed, despite the pressing stillness of the surroundings, it felt like something had instantaneously locked its focus onto me. Venom, why do I suddenly have goosebumps? Even Lung Wuyin within me seemed unsettled. It feels like being watched by a predator. My chest feels tight. I'm sensing it too, something's off. Maybe the spiritual energy here is chaotically unstable. Don't stop. Keep moving. I narrowed my eyes, randomly picked a direction, and took off running. In places like this, the quieter it is, the more dangerous it likely becomes. Lingering in one spot is practically waiting for death. Not long after I left, 9 figures descended near the spot where I started. They were all elite talents from various city regions, exuding an aura of authority. Among peers of their age, they stood as top tier. One of them, a young man with arched brows and shining eyes, stepped forward. Li Yan, affiliated with the Military City High Academy. My battle beast, Tier SS War God Fire Rock. Level 59. For this Blood Moon territory expedition and training, I'll assume leadership. Does anyone object? A small commotion started in the group. Li Yan? Isn't he ranked 6th on the youth ranking? Yeah, that's him. I've seen his picture before. If he's leading, I've got no complaints. Neither do we. Li Yan quickly glanced over the group's numbers and frowned. There are only 8 of you. One's missing. Someone muttered under their breath. Chickened out at the last minute? Li Yan's tone turned icy. Impossible. I can sense spatial fluctuations. 5 minutes before we arrived, a portal was opened here. Someone went in alone? In a place like this, solo traveling's just asking for death. He returned his focus to the group. Forget about them. Let's focus on surviving ourselves. Now, everybody report your abilities so we can avoid miscoordination if we end up in combat. Meanwhile, about 10 minutes before my arrival, deep in the valley, a third eye slowly opened. The doppelganger of the tri-eyed demon emperor let out a low chuckle. It's time. The tri-eyed doppelganger fixed its gaze on the enormous egg adorned with cracks, cackling sinisterly. He pulled out a pale bone flask, and as soon as the cap loosened, an ink-black mist began pouring out. The mist ascended, merging with the sky, and promptly transformed into black rain that came crashing down upon this little world. The moment beasts were hit by the black rain, their bodies began to expand, their strength surged exponentially, and their formerly scattered cognitive abilities morphed into nothing more than roiling bloodlust. The tri-eyed doppelganger's eyes narrowed as it sneered. This monster fat from the Guanine Demon Emperor really is ruthless. He extended a finger. Snarling celestial hound, come out. Devour all the beasts in this area and absorb their power. And finally, swallow that blood moon hanging up there. This world will belong to us. He broke into maniacal laughter as he glanced at the blood moon overhead. Amid his laughter, the massive egg suddenly shattered with a thunderous roar. Out strode a giant hound, larger than a tiger, its eyes gleaming like lanterns. The red light within those eyes radiated with insatiable hunger. Back on my end, I stood atop a boulder, staring at the enormous octopus sprawled across the cliff ahead of me. I needed to advance through the Blood Moon territory. The commander had crammed all the historical intelligence he could into my badge, and I'd quickly skimmed and memorized it. According to the intel, this was called a molten rock octopus. A C-tier creature described as slow-moving with weak defenses, considered among the weakest in the Blood Moon territory. But the one before me? Its sheer size was at least as big as 2 basketball courts. My stomach sank. This is supposed to be weak? Without further deliberation, I morphed my right arm into a broad blade and swung. A streak of green energy sliced through the air, splitting the octopus flesh open and spraying blood everywhere. Yet it still roared in anger. Expressionless, I followed up with a second slash, efficiently finishing it off. Killed C-tier beast. Gained 10,000 symbiotic points. The creature's massive body tumbled from the cliff, hitting the ground with an explosion of dust and debris. My frown only deepened. Something wasn't right. That thing wasn't normal. Back outside, my energy slices could easily one-shot a C-tier. Not even high defense types could survive. But with this octopus, the first strike only inflicted severe injuries, leaving it strong enough to roar and requiring a second blow to end it. Seriously? The intel said these things had weak defenses and were one of the weakest species? Just the level of toughness it displayed was far above your average outside beasts. Something's definitely wrong here. Stay on alert. Even the weakest of the beasts here are this strong. Anything stronger is bound to be insane. Elsewhere, Lian's squad had run into a mutated rockflare octopus. Pointing at it, Lian commanded, its earth element aligned. Shi Liang, you're the same, go. Shi Liang stepped forward, summoning his level 56 S-class battle beast, the Stone Monkey King. Per usual, dealing with the weakest rockflare octopus should have been a breeze. But as soon as the battle started, cold sweat dripped down his spine. The octopus was absurdly tough. Each heavy punch from the stone monkey landed like a hammer, but it barely scratched the damn thing. In contrast, its tentacles lashed back ferociously, forcing the stone monkey into retreat. The gaze of their squad members turned peculiar. Tight-lipped, Shi Liang gritted his teeth and ordered the stone monkey to use a skill. The stone monkey smacked both fists onto the ground, and a massive stone spike jut upward, slamming into the octopus. What should have been a clean, penetrating hit only ended up toppling it over. It still didn't break through the octopus's defense. Shi Liang's eyes widened in disbelief. This can't be happening. Lian frowned, stepping forward. It's just a weak rockflare octopus. How much longer do you plan to drag this out? Step aside, I'll finish it. He internally cursed in irritation. An S-class, calling themselves a prodigy? What a hindrance. Raising a hand, he summoned his SS-class beast, the Celestial Fire Rock. A massive crimson gold rock soared high, golden flames igniting along its wings. With a resonant cry, it dove sharply. Watch and learn the difference in our ability, he declared. The fire rock unleashed a torrent of cascading flames, quickly leaving nothing but a charred octopus corpse behind. But Li Yin, standing beside the remains, discreetly wiped beads of cold sweat from his brow. His face darkened further. Why the hell was that thing so tough? Wasn't the intelligence brief stating its defense was weak? Suppressing his unease, he called out tersely, "Let's move." The squad of 8 followed silently. None questioned him aloud, but only Shi Liang glanced back at the charred corpse, eyes filled with confusion. Why? He and Li Yin were the only ones who'd actually fought it directly. At first, he assumed it was just him being incompetent. But seeing that even Li Yin couldn't resolve the fight as quickly as expected told him something was deeply off. It wasn't that they were weak. The rockflare octopus was inexplicably stronger, absurdly so. What on earth was going on? Man, this feels amazing. Standing atop a hill made of bloody corpses, I spread my arms wide and let the wind, thick with the stench of gore, blow against my face, thoroughly savoring the moment. It had been far too long since I'd gotten to go all out in a fight. Ever since that time with the Fire Gold Ant Hive, this was the first opportunity for a true, energy-burning brawl. Beneath my feet lay a meat mountain comprised of 50 C-class and 2 B-class beasts. This haul granted me a hefty 700,000 symbiosis points at once. Adding it to my pre-existing 200,000, I now had a robust 900,000 total, more than double the amount required. System, spend all the symbiosis points. Unlock all rewards. Ding. Symbiosis points, 900,000. Confirm consuming all points to unlock rewards. Reward unlocked. Super tier reward obtained. Gigantic Titan form. Ding. Detecting proliferation law at play. Gigantic Titan form evolving into Limitless Titan form. An upgrade to the reward? Oh, now that's exciting. I closed my eyes, immersing myself in the sensation. The next moment, I burst into laughter. Gigantic Titan form allows me to transform into a massive giant while maintaining precise control, avoiding the usual sluggishness that comes with such abilities. But with the super tier unlock, my height skyrocketed from 20 meters to 50 meters. Yep, this is officially Ultraman level. Normally, this ability would have had a 10-minute time limit, but Limitless Titan form obliterated that restriction entirely. Now, I could remain gigantic permanently. What's more, I could continue splitting my cells indefinitely, spreading my black liquid form across vast areas. Although the distant portions would rapidly harden and stop being controllable, that hardly mattered. Limitless gigantification? That alone was terrifying enough. Taking a deep breath, I tapped into my new ability. My cells began to divide wildly, layering over my original form. In a blink, I had become a massive 50-meter-tall black titan. What's happening? Cold Wu Yan's trembling voice came from within. High up in the titan's chest area, she clung on nervously as the ground beneath us grew further and further away. Venom, why are you suddenly this massive? Never having stood at such dizzying heights, she was visibly flustered, her usual composure gone. Her flushed face betrayed her excitement mixed with apprehension. Relax. Don't panic. I replied calmly. I'm just testing out a new skill I picked up. As she slowly adjusted, I turned my attention toward a familiar rockflare octopus. It was one of those beasts that once required at least 2 precise slashes to kill. Squish. With a single step, I crushed it beneath my foot, its body bursting into a grotesque slurry. Killed C-class beast. Gained 10,000 symbiosis points. Instant obliteration. This was the power of Titan form. Simply changing size translated into exponential increases in strength and mass, to the point where even casual movements surpassed the impact of my earlier, more concentrated attacks. My defense and vitality had also skyrocketed to ludicrous levels, rendering projectiles like cannon fire nothing but mild tickles. This was no game. You couldn't cheese your way past me by aiming for my ankles. You could be the most skilled fighter in the world, but it wouldn't matter. My sheer bigness would crush everything. With the time limit abolished, I opted to stay in Titan form as I continued hunting. One stomp, one kill. My efficiency was miles ahead of what it used to be. Meanwhile, in another corner of the mini-world, the snarling heaven dog buried its snout into yet another beast, voraciously devouring its prey. The surrounding beasts, bizarrely, didn't seem to notice their comrades being eaten, passively allowing it to feast to its heart's content. The more it ate, the stronger it became, climbing from G-class to F-class, then D-class, and now C-class. Its body also ballooned in size, having grown to a towering 5 meters in height. On its back, a 3-eyed split entity quivered in excitement. More? Keep eating. Eat as much as you can. The beasts have definitely mutated. The Pride team huddled in the mountain cave, eyes wide as they watched a monster lumber past the entrance. It had the head of a giant earth bear, but the body easily reached over 10 meters tall. Its fur had fallen away, leaving a frame covered entirely in bony armor they couldn't possibly pierce. Its claws, blade-like extensions on its bare paws, could cleave a person in half even without a direct hit. They were seasoned fighters capable of taking on foes above their rank, but anyone could see this creature wasn't your average Class B. Calling it Class A was being modest. Barely an hour into Blood Moon mode, it had taken the full strength of their team just to kill 4 Class C beasts. Meanwhile, the monsters outside were evolving into something outrageous. For them, Blood Moon mode was supposed to be a laid-back opportunity, a chance to grind, level up, and gain resources. As long as they avoided any Class S beasts, even a Class A would eventually fall when surrounded by their 9-man squad. But all that had drastically changed now. The beasts had gone feral, growing stronger at an alarming rate. Their violent aura was suffocating, and the air was filled with guttural roars, tearing at their ears. What started as a child-friendly chop down some trees animation had turned overnight into an 18-plus Silent Hill. complete with a terrifying dystopian twist. Every one of the 9 was injured. The enthusiasm and confidence they displayed at the start were now memories. Sensing the tension before it broke, Li Yin quietly took charge, keeping his voice steady as he addressed the team. Something unexpected has happened with Blood Moon mode. The exact cause is unclear. From this moment on, our objective shifts to reconnaissance. Hunting is no longer the main goal. Gather as much intel as you can, clues, patterns, anything that points to the root of this change. Organize it. We'll hand it over to HQ and let them deal with it. This situation has escalated far beyond what we can handle. Understood, came the resolute answer from the other 8. Suddenly, Shi Liang frowned. The solo player, are they going to be okay? Someone snorted coldly. If it wasn't safe for solo play before, it's even worse now. They're probably dead. There's nothing left to find, not even scraps. The earth shook with a thunderous boom. A massive black giant stomped down, the ground cracking into a crater. A Class C beast caught in the impact was instantly reduced to a meaty pulp. Defeated Class C beast. Reward, 10,000 convergence points. In just 1 hour, I'd taken down 6 Class B and 60 Class C beasts. My convergence points had shot up to 1.2 million. Outside this realm, earning that much could take months, maybe longer. The thrill of the kills was palpable. I couldn't get enough. This trip was paying off in spades. By now, I spoke as naturally as I killed. Venom, have you spotted the others yet? Weren't there supposed to be 10 slots this time? Cold Wu Yan's voice echoed, slightly puzzled from within my body. No sign of them. Where could they have gone? She'd grown accustomed to the exaggerated perspective. Being inside Venom's form brought a ridiculous level of security. Nothing could harm her here, so why worry? I brushed it off, indifferent. Chances are they left early. Let's face it, this place isn't suited for kids. Cold Wu Yin bristled at once. Who are you calling a kid? I'm a grown woman. I couldn't be bothered to argue. To someone like Venom, who had existed for who knows how long, or my own mindset, seasoned by past lives in my 20s, Wu Yin might as well be a child. Instead of a retort, I simply continued forward, hunting relentlessly. The next unlock threshold was 2 million convergence points, but knowing myself, why stop there? I wouldn't settle for anything short of 5 million, maybe even 10 million. Help me. I froze mid-step, my colossal form halting. Cold Wu Yin, was that you? Her bewildered voice followed quickly. I didn't say anything. I furrowed my brow. I heard it. She seemed just as puzzled. I didn't hear a thing. Are you sure you're not imagining it? I shook my head. With my abilities, there was no mistaking it. Hallucinations weren't an option for me. Help me. The voice came again. Closing my eyes, I focused intently. For something to project speech directly into my consciousness, energy transfer had to be involved. It wasn't just a phantom shout, it held substance. Following the traces of energy, my gaze lifted, locking onto the crimson moon hanging brightly in the sky. It's you. It's me. The voice drifted, fragmented. Speak clearly. I'm contaminated. The source of the corruption is consuming beasts, growing stronger with every one. You must kill it. All right, I said evenly, narrowing my eyes. What's in it for me? These beasts were mine to kill, and no one would take my convergence points. Period. The Blood Moon hesitated for a few beats. Isn't this training ground reward enough? I chuckled coldly. You're trying to con a freebie out of me? Good luck, then. Hope you enjoy being fully corrupted, I added, turning on my heel without hesitation. The Blood Moon panicked instantly. If I'm completely overtaken, the people who came with you won't make it out alive either. I laughed, my voice laced with icy indifference. And what's that got to do with me? I don't even know them. A thin attempt at moral leverage? Pathetic. I wasn't playing that game. The Blood Moon simmered, barely reining in its frustration. What do you want? I paused briefly. Hand over your core essence first. Once the job's done, we'll discuss additional terms. You. The Blood Moon's anger flared. I resumed walking. No deal? Your loss. Seconds ticked by before the Blood Moon finally let out a defeated sigh. Within the body I inhabited, I felt my original body's palms suddenly grow warm. Opening it, I found myself holding a crimson crescent moon, glowing faintly in its delicate curves.